Welcome back to Crime Time with Jess. So, again, we are going to be on this Idaho4 case because in my last stream, I described this as being a prolific case because it absolutely is. So, the scream. I want to get right to this. We saw this come out by a YouTuber named Joseph Morris. Okay, if you're unfamiliar with Joseph Morris, he has a large following, but he also has a very long history of just literally producing fake crap. Okay, so I'm going to show you Joseph Morris's channel just so you're aware of it. He started this fake stuff, and I'll tell you now, I subscribed to him during the Gabby Petito case. That is when I subscribed to him. He looked like a very legitimate YouTuber, and I wanted to hear what he had to say. He has a lot of subscribers. So I was like, okay, this is probably a decent channel. I was very wrong. Um, so I watched him a couple times, and I realized that he was just like on a loop. He was just saying like the same things over and over again. The first couple of times I was like, well, he has more and more people coming into his chat, so he's going to have to repeat what he said. But there was always this off feeling about him. When I looked at him, take this as you will, but when I looked at him, he's a very decent looking man. He's very, I would venture to say, good looking man. But he, I feel like he almost kind of uses that to kind of wrangle people in. So this is Joseph Morris's channel. Okay. I'm definitely not telling you to go to this channel. Joseph Morris's. Oh, sorry. And just like subscribe or do some crazy stuff. But what I will tell you is that he did a video a day or so ago about a scream. And okay, so let me tell you, from the Gabby Petito case, again, I subscribed to him. I was kind of interested in what he was saying. It seemed legitimate. It seemed like legitimate news. And then he posted this boat video of Brian Laundrie. Now we all know that Brian Laundrie was like dead like day one when he went to that area. But this guy, Joseph Morris, snagged this video. I think it was off of Instagram. Could be another platform, but he snagged this video. All you can see in the video is a boat, the water, and like a male's arm. You can't see a face or anything like that. And he claimed that this was Brian Laundrie, right? So when I saw that, I was like, yeah, I don't know about this. I can't see a face. I can't see anything. I can't say it's Brian Laundrie. But he did. So after a while, like I'd watch him, I would say, I don't know, anywhere from 7 to 10 times. And I just knew this guy's a BSer. This guy is BS. He's just a BS. But I want you to look at how many subscribers he has. 246K subscribers. Okay. So this fake BS news that he's pumping out to people, he's pumping out to quite a lot of them. So if I scroll down, here's his top little videos. Margot Robbie exposes Amber Heard. He's got a lot of Amber Heard stuff on here. Aaron Carter, Amber Heard. So when we go to his videos, scroll down again. Again, we see these are his top videos. So I'm not seeing anything about this Scream video that he produced, that he aired. As you can see, his live chats, the last one was 2 days ago. And it was the Idaho student murders enhanced body cam hoodie guy jackass's car. That is not the last live stream he did. He actually did a live stream with, allegedly, the screaming of the victims, a recording of that. Okay. What has been found out since then is that this person, and this is not the first time he has done this, but he took a recording offline. He manipulated it. I'm going to put it in layman terms. ICML and people like that can put it in more technological terms. I'm going to put it in layman terms. He manipulated it in a way that you hear a girl saying, "Stop, just leave me alone." And then you hear this really heavy breathing. It's been determined that this heavy breathing was his own. This video was not of this murder. It was offline. He stole this video to do this. So it's really kind of diabolical that you have 4 college students that have been murdered, their families in a lot of turmoil. And then you have this guy over here that's just like making up stuff, just literally making up stuff. Like, what is wrong with you? Why are you doing this? So yeah, they will. Yeah, exactly, Sam. People will do anything, literally anything for money. But there's something else. No, no, not that. So here is the neighbor that he said that, this video came from. And this neighbor is going to describe this. So here we go. The scream.
Where 4 University of Idaho students were murdered was party central. Police logs show cops were called to the house twice in one night in September over noise complaints. According to neighbors, there were loud gatherings most weekends involving 15 to 20 guests gathered in the backyard of the fire pit. One neighbor says she routinely had to wear earplugs to go to bed. News Nation's anchor Ashley Banfield is following the case. If this killer had been in that house before as a friend or a partier, they would know the unusual layout of that house. They would know where the back entrance is, the front entrance is, the locks on the doors, the stairs. They'd have a pretty easy time getting in and, more importantly, getting out unnoticed. And now a neighbor who lives near the house says he heard a woman screaming the night of the murders. 30-year-old Enon Harsh, a chef, says he thinks he heard this.
39, Eon Harsh, a chef. For those of you that watch Donna Serafina, I'm sure you're taking note.
Scream at around 4 a.m., but he quickly dismissed it as noise coming from a party. I didn't think anything of it. After what happened, I definitely had second thoughts. Maybe it was not a party sound. And police are still looking for that white 2011 to 2013 Hyundai Elantra seen near the house the night of the murders. U.S. Border Patrol agents are monitoring Canadian border crossings for the mystery car. What's the significance of this car?
The significance of the car is we know it was there. We know we haven't spoken to who was in that car, who may have owned that car.
Aside from this neighbor's scream that was just debunked in major ways, the car is significant. You just heard her say, we knew it was there. They want to, and they've made this clear, this is the car we're looking for. But what we really want is to talk to the occupants, the people that were inside of this car. She just laid this out for you guys. We know that car was there. That car was there during the murders, around that time. They know that. So again, I'll say that the police know a lot more than we do, obviously. But they know this car was there. However they know that, I don't know. But they know. Okay, so anyway.
and we need to speak to them. We know that that person could really have information we need to break the case.
Yeah, so that's that. I mean, this car, I think, is significant. I don't think that they would put this out if it was not. She just literally just laid it out. We know that this car was there. They know it. However they know it, they just do. I do want to listen to the 911 call. I'll be honest with you guys, I have not heard it. This looks like a video I would probably want to watch. So let's see if it's a good one. Or a video that's just going to play a 911 call and nothing else.
And Moscow police just released information. Detectives have investigated the private party driver who took Kaylee and Madison home. They do not believe he is involved in the crime. The call to 911 came from one of the roommates' phones inside the house close to noon, but they did not say who made that call. Detectives confirmed the victims were located on the second and third floors of the house. They are also aware of multiple phone calls from Madison and Kaylee to a man. This information is part of the ongoing investigation. And detectives are asking for all outside surveillance video taken from 3 a.m. to 6 a.m. on November 13th. They're asking for video from both businesses and homes in this radius. That is north and south between West Taylor Avenue and West Palouse River Drive, and east and west between Highway 95 south to the 2700 block and the Arboretum and Botanical Garden. Detectives are requesting all available video, whether there appears to be any movement or not. Tips, pictures, and videos can be submitted to the tip line at ci.moscow.id.us, or you can call the tip line at 208-883-7180.
3.5 weeks later, a killer still on the loose after 4.
Oops, I'm trying to stop this. I didn't mean to play this. Why can't I stop it?
Many wondering, is the case going investigative?
Okay, I'm so sorry. I was not trying to play this.
Answers.
Sorry. But anyway, I want to just hear the 911 calls. I seen that was that happened. I still want to say that Crime Stories Obsessed, which her name would be Emma. I want to say that she had it. I know she alluded to having it. So, hopefully she does. I'm going to look real quick. 2 crimes, 1 man. Nope, not that. That's her home videos. Let's see here. Okay, so this looks like the 911 call. So she's posting it as that. This is Crime Stories Obsessed UK. Her name is Emma again, and I'm going to play this video.
Anybody is going to properly sleep well. So
let's start at the beginning.
On the 13th of November this year, 4 students were slain in their home in Idaho. Many people are interested to know when this person will be caught and why this happened in the first place. And until this perpetrator is caught, I doubt any of the family members will be able to fully grieve for their loved ones. I decided to look back over what was going on for police in the area at that time. So first of all, I looked at the 12th of November, the day that the girls and Ethan and Zana all went out, enjoyed the day, met up with friends, and arrived home between 1:45 and around 2:30, sometime around then. So let's see what the police were dealing with around that time. So they came in at 1:46 a.m. So that was the day before. Then there was an attempt to locate a female. This came in at 1:46 a.m. But somebody was ringing to check on their daughter because they'd not heard from them and they were not picking up. So whether this person was just asleep, they'd been out, who knows who it was, but this was at 1:46 in the morning. It says here that officers responded but no report was made, and it was a request for welfare to check on a daughter who was not returning their calls. Still, on the 12th, the day before, at 2:44 a.m, the reporting person was requesting to speak with an officer. They said they were feeling like they didn't want to be here anymore, and officers responded but no report was taken.
Let's get through this ad. We can do it. We can make it through it. One more second.
Paid
Oh,
$1,000
nope.
a month, if
2 more
just
seconds.
from this app on my phone. And I don't know.
So we're calling for abnormal behaviour. This was at 10:57 in the morning, and it was at the address of Ash Street, and it was the Student Health Centre, and it was for someone, it was a male, and they were having schizophrenia and having some kind of episode. Now, what happened to him, I don't know. It does say that he was transported to Gritman. I'm guessing that's a hospital in the area, and that was at 10:57 a.m. Also, the day before, at 16:19 in the afternoon, the reporting person said that they had a previous no contact order against a male, possibly an ex, and that now it had expired. The male was now at reporting person's place of work, just stood there staring at her. And this was supposedly the food co-op, and this was East 5th Street, and this was in Moscow, Idaho. That was 16:19. It also came in the evening, so this was 9 p.m., 9:09 p.m. A third-party report came in. The reporting person said that the boyfriend told her that an intoxicated person, possibly a male, is causing issues at the property, but no further details were given. So it sounds like there was a male at the property on North Main Street, Moose Lodge. I don't know if that's student accommodation or not. But when I tapped in Moose Lodge, I got the Corner Club. So whether it's very close to the Corner Club or whether it's another name for the Corner Club, I'm not sure. And they were reporting at 9 p.m. that there was somebody in there. They were intoxicated, they thought.
Interpretive pause, but I just have to say that I think Emma did a fantastic job on this. And it just gives insight into all of the things that were going on in this area, and it's quite a bit. And you're going to notice a repeating pattern, which is no report. They responded, but they don't make a lot of reports. You will see the report that was made with the murders, though, and there was a report made, obviously.
And they were causing problems. So at 1:08 a.m. on the 13th, so very early in the morning, a similar time to when the 4 students were taken from us, a weapon offence came in or complaint. It came in that somebody was apparently blaring out music for some time and shooting off a you-know-what. Officers responded, but no report was made. So whether they were able to deal with it there and then, told him to turn the music down, maybe it was the music that they'd heard. I mean, it didn't say that he was arrested or anything. So, but it's interesting to know that this was occurring. This was on 2300 back South Main Street, and apparently there was some question as to whether they were firing off a G and were blaring music at the time. But it's just interesting because it did actually come in like literally 2 hours before all this occurred. Now at 3:01 in the morning, just around about the time that this all happened, or just before, shall we say, with the 4 students, this came in, and some of you may have heard of it already. At 3:01 a.m. in the morning, between Taylor Avenue and Banfield, Moscow, an alcohol situation occurred. Now, it did come in that there was some kind of fight.
This is the body footage, what we saw a day or 2 ago. The body footage that, looks all blurry right now, but where people were really questioning, was that car lights that we saw? Was it a light that went off in the house? I still maintain that I think it was a light that went off in the house. I don't know that it was car lights because we just didn't see the lights anywhere else. But either way, people definitely speculated on this body cam footage.
Involved, although when we saw on the police cam the other day, there didn't seem to be any fighting at that point, but the police were on scene. It looked like there was 3 of them, and they'd been given citations for alcohol offences for them being 20 years of age. So they were students. Now at 10:54 a.m., so this is a few hours after the students were taken so cruelly, a vehicle was reportedly parked with the door wide open in a parking lot on Rayburn Street, University College of Law. So there was a vehicle parked there and the door was wide open.
Meet Literomance.
Again, I'm just going to shout out to Emma for putting this together because it's brilliant.
56 a.m. This came in as 1100 King Road in Moscow, Idaho, and this was a complaint of an unconscious person. Officers and EMS responded, the coroner and detectives were notified. Yes, you're right in thinking that is the 4 students that were killed. Although the police are saying that the call came in from one of the roommates from inside the house, this is where the person was reported to be at the time that they were unconscious. And this is the house. As you can see.
Can we just say that that is strange? Emma has located the spot that the call came in. It's not at the house. And what law enforcement has said is that the call came from someone that lived inside the house or was from inside the house. But, when she looked up this location, it was not inside the house. As you can clearly see, it was away from the house. So just something, I don't know. Again, I really don't feel like Dylan or Bethany, those are the 2 first floor ground roommates, the surviving roommates, Dylan and Bethany. I don't think they have anything to do with this. But it is weird. I don't know what either one of them would have been doing in this vicinity. We've heard various rumors that Hunter, Ethan's brother, was called, that he actually came into the house, that there were other people that came into the house before police arrived. Whether that's true or not, I don't know. I don't know. It has not been verified. I can't say yes, that absolutely happened or it didn't. Again, I'll just direct you back to Joseph Morris and his ridiculous making up of things. We're not doing this on this channel. So let's continue on.
1122, which is where all this occurred, was just up the road. So had they run down there to get a friend to help and then collapsed? At 17:01, so 5 o'clock in the afternoon, on the same day that this all occurred, at 2300 Black White Avenue in Moscow, the reporting person was requesting a welfare check on a female that hadn't been heard from in 2 days. Let's hope they're okay. They're not a victim of a horrible crime. We certainly haven't heard of it on the news. But it is obvious since looking through these press logs since the incident that people are scared, that relatives are worried for their loved, and people are just worried that they're going to be next. And until this person is found, I don't think anybody is going to properly sleep well. So let's take a look at some of the things that have come in since this crime occurred. And there was a trespassing complaint on 3rd Street, the laundry room. Apparently a male had trespassed, but no report was made. Again, the person was worried because she can't get in touch with her husband. Another person worried. Suspicious, a male apparently taking photographs on the upper floors. Currently watching the male walking east. No report was made.
No report.
Male screaming outside for 5 minutes, saying incoherent things. Police responded.
No report.
Was made. Suspicious. Somebody knocked on their door, then walked away. They have a big try a different house. They apparently shouted.
No report. I want you to see this pattern. No report. No report. No report. It's like the skinned dog that was placed upon I believe it was a sorority's porch. This has not been talked about enough. It just has not. There was a skinned dog, placed upon, I want to say it's a sorority. I believe it's a sorority. It could be a fraternity. So I'll say either or. I don't want to be incorrect. Either or. But it was placed upon a porch neatly. I don't know how you do that neatly unless you suffer from psychopathy or sociopathy or one of those personality disorders. But I also don't understand how this is not being talked about enough when we see, was it 3 weeks later, a quadruple murder of 4 young college students. One of them, actually, I think Kaylee was supposed to graduate yesterday. Kaylee was supposed to graduate yesterday. Yesterday should have been a happy day for her family and herself. She should have received flowers from her family, applause, smiles, congratulations, pictures. She's moving on with her life. To keep it very raw in your mind, this young person is in a box, as her father said. Moving on.
Officer responded, no report was made. And these were the day after the crime, so obviously people were on high alert. Somebody apparently yelling, somebody in his 40s outside their house, can't see him any longer. People are just concerned for the safety. There was apparently something, this raised my eyebrows a little bit, suspicious person circumstance. So this was just a couple of days after the incident, and it came through as Sigma Chi residence. And it said, at the time report, it was 11:21 p.m. And it said that no report was made and the officer was contacted, but apparently somebody was acting suspicious near the Sigma Chi house, or in the Sigma Chi house, not quite sure. Another suspicious circumstance, and this came on Grant Street in Moscow. A woman walked into somebody's house stating that she might have the wrong address. People were just very...
There is a lot that is going on in Moscow, Idaho. Okay. So the initial information that we got as the public was extremely safe town. Nothing ever happens here. Our last murder was 2015, and we don't have this sort of thing. But the reality, Crime Stories Obsessed, again, Emma has laid this out for you. It's there in black and white. That is their stuff that anyone from the public could look up. There was a lot of things going on in this town. There's schizophrenia. There is alcohol abuse. Again, I will state that this college was known as a party college. And the victim's home was known as a party home. This is not a shaming statement at all. What it is when I think of a party house, I've lived in one. I had the time of my life at 19 in Dewey Beach, Delaware, and it was a party house, and it was great. We partied all the time. We went down the beach. We did all kinds of stuff. And what we were was very trusting of people. We're allowing you in. So I look at these young people, and I think the same. I think that they were trusting. I think they were naive. I think that they assumed that everyone just wanted to have a good time like them. They really were living their best lives. This was a house rented out by all females. Ethan was there spending the night with Zena, who was his girlfriend. He did not live there. He was not on the lease. He is a victim in this case. But I find it interesting that a house of all females would be targeted with no essay. Somebody commented on my last live stream, and they said, just because there is no essay doesn't mean that this wasn't a crime of some type of sexual, I can't quote them. I would have to go back and look, but basically that this wasn't a crime of, it couldn't be a crime of sexual gratification, which they're absolutely right. There are people who will use knives that are men, specifically, that are unable to get off, if you will. So they will use the knife and the fluid coming out when that knife comes out, And the thrill of that is the actual completion of the sexual nature thing that they're trying to do. I think you guys know what I'm trying to say. I'm trying to skirt all around this, but you know what I'm saying. So there's definitely people like that. And then there's been a lot of talk of incels. And it just can't be overlooked. It can't. Incels really, I don't want to point the finger at them because we do not know. There has not been a single person of interest named or a single suspect. So we don't know. But the topic of incels is significant here. You have 4 victims. You have a house rented out solely by females. Ethan, again, was there by chance, spending the night with Zena. He was not a part of this lease. He did not live there. He lived in his own house. So this was a house of females. All of them, in my opinion, very attractive females, very sociable females. All of them in sororities. Kaylee, who is on your screen right now, she was obviously, we've heard this a million times, but she was best friends with Madison, who, she was best friends from an early age with her, grew up with her. They are described time and time again as sisters, went to the same college, but Madison did, she went to one sorority, and then Kaylee, who was pictured, went to a different sorority. So Madison and Zena went to the same sorority. They were, and Madison again was described as quote unquote big in her sorority. So that just tells me she was well known. She was involved. She was there. People knew who she was. And then Zena seems to be very beloved by pretty much all of the renters, the roommates. But Kaylee, I do find that interesting that Kaylee would pick a different sorority than Maddie. Maybe there was just this different sense of belonging. I'm not really sure why that was. Obviously, they didn't have to do everything together, but I do find that interesting that they pretty much did do everything together. And then when it came down to like a sorority thing, Kaylee chose a different route and Maddie chose a different route. But they still remained very close. So let's carry on with this.
Very concerned. They are still very concerned. Anybody that they see, they're all watching out their windows, looking for things, locking their doors, worried at night when they go to bed and everything's dark. I think I would be too, especially if you lived on your own. I mean, these people that were killed, they were 4 of them in that house. You would have thought you would feel safe having the fact that there was 4 of you. There was another male in the house. But, it didn't do them any favours having 4 of them in there. So it just shows this person is capable of coming in and taking over 4 people. Someone knocking on somebody's door. People are worried. People are concerned. And I am not surprised at all, to be honest. I would probably have to go and stay with relatives.
Here's one thing you need to do before you start your holiday shopping. Don't spend the dime on Amazon until you watch this first.
I think Emma did a really good job here. I want to play this video to the end. I just have to say that Emma did a really fantastic job. I have to shout it out again because she really did in just showing these victims. Kaylee is stuck here. There would be Kaylee again. Kaylee again. A lot of pictures of Kaylee. Kaylee again. There's Senna and her father. Oh, thank you so much, Charlotte. There's Senna and her dad. There's the mask guy. We have not talked about this on this channel. Charlotte, Donald, thank you so much. Love what you do, Jess. Take me drunk. I'm home again. LOL. I'll take it, babe. I'll take it. I really appreciate that. That's really kind and definitely helps out my channel, and I appreciate it. Let's talk about this masked intruder. There's been a lot of weird things that have happened around Moscow, Idaho. We really can't deny that. Because, again, in the beginning of following this case, we just really heard that this was a really safe place. And nothing like this ever happens. And then all of this stuff, it's like the curtain was pulled back and all the dirty laundry was exposed. You know, here's this mask guy that was going around ringing doorbells. I do believe that law enforcement has said he is not related to the murders. We have the skin dog that is not talked about very much. We have the victim, the male victim, young male victim from in May that supposedly, allegedly was an accidental drowning after attending a ball that Maddie and a couple of the other roommates attended the same ball. You know, that the night of his death, his picture was taken directly in front of the back of the victim's house. So there's just really, really weird things. Let's continue on with this. There's Maddie. Ethan. Kaylee and Maddie. Kaylee right here. Hoodie guy over here. The college. One last shout out to Emma from Crime Stories Obsessed. That was a very well put together video. If you guys don't know her channel, let me just blow it up once again. Crime Stories Obsessed. This is her channel. Yes, I've been a subscriber for a long time. I really like Emma. I like what she does. So yeah, definitely check this channel out. Yeah, I even have my bell on for her. I have my bell on when she does something here, because she's great. But that wasn't the 911 call that I actually wanted to hear. I thought it was going to be, but it wasn't. So I'm going to try to find it again. This case, there's a lot coming out in increments. So, you know, please omit naming who called 911. Yes, okay. But I want to hear the actual 911 call. That's not it. Police released new video tie-dye. Okay, no. And see, oh, that was 2 weeks ago. So there is the 911 call that's been released, correct? Or hasn't? Was that clickbait? Did we just watch Emma? Did we just watch clickbait? I'm kidding. I'm sorry. I have my little burst. Charlotte, don't be mad at me. But I'm just wondering.
It's been nearly a week since police in Moscow, Idaho sealed off the scene of a gruesome murder, but investigators are still collecting evidence. At one point Friday, digging something out of the leaves in the backyard. The families of the victims, in disbelief that the killer of 4 people is still on the loose.
My husband is in court every day, the FBI, Moscow, Idaho State Police, and every day he just says nothing.
Now police confirming that the victims were attacked with a large knife.
Oops.
Some had defensive wounds, some may have been killed in their sleep, and there was no sign of sexual assault. Meanwhile, police remain tight-lipped over why they can't share who called 911 around 8 hours after the murders, but telling us they have ruled out the man seen near 2 of the victims in this video as a suspect, as well as 2 other females who were inside the home but unhurt when the
I don't
attacks
know if
happened.
this is
Now
what
that
I
the
want to
movements have been
play,
ruled out
but
conclusively, can you tell us if they
I'm
were the
trying
ones
to
that called
comment in
911?
the chat.
So, still, we're not going to release that information yet. That particular piece of information
I
seems
think
to be
that looks
fueling
like a
lot of
Christmas tree.
and making your jobs harder. That is correct. There are a lot of conspiracies out there. There's a lot of conjecture. However, we have to work on the facts.
The most pressing facts are still a mystery. No murder weapon, no motive, not even a suspect description. Devastating for the families of Xana Carnoto, Ethan Chapin, Maddie Mogan, and Kaylee Gonzalez. Pray for justice in their grief.
Turn yourself in. You owe it to these mothers of these children, these fathers, these families. You're wrong. Turn yourself in.
And so far, the police say that they've received about 500 tips, and they're asking for even more tips from the public, from anybody that knows where these victims were the night before they were killed. But right now, the biggest lead seems to be that large fixed-blade weapon, possibly a combat knife. Guys.
The night before they were killed, they still, again, I heard them say that Ethan and Xana's timelines, that they basically were not going to release them because it could be pertinent to the investigation. This is why I really zeroed in on Ethan and Xana, and thought Maddie and Kaylee's timeline is well known. It's out there. It's not hard to find. You can watch them on the food truck video. Everyone knows that they were at the sorority party. But again, Ethan and Xana, their timeline is not known. Law enforcement really told us, we're not going to tell you that because it could be detrimental to the investigation. So it just seems like there's something in those timelines that are very pertinent that we don't know. I can't find anyone that posted the 911 call. I really thought that Emma did, but I guess not. Let me put in something else. 911 call made about the Idaho4 victims. See if it produces anything different. Doesn't seem to. No, I don't think so. So I'm going to surmise that the 911 calls were not actually released. It doesn't appear to be the case. I feel like, I have the hiccups. I feel like if that was the case, major news outlets, especially Ashley Banfield, would most likely be showing them. Let's see. No, I don't believe so. Nope. So was that more clickbait, or did anyone actually hear the 911 calls with this case? I am so glad that I don't just hop on everything. I'm telling you, I knew that Scream video was just BS. I knew it. There's no way that law enforcement is going to hold something this tight to the vest And then there's just going to be this random video where this, you hear the victim screaming out in the background. That was not them. That was fake, Joseph Morris, sir. Yeah, I don't think that the 911 calls were actually produced, because I did just watch Emma's. It said 911, but it didn't actually do that. So let's just go back down here. Get rid of all of that. Oh, I can't see you guys. All right, here we go. Hi, Blue. There was a recording of a 911 call to a nearby field. Oh, so that was it. The cops were possibly nearby. Okay. There was body cam footage of a light off approximately 3 a.m. So yeah, my last live stream, I talked about this body cam footage. Some people thought it was a car. Some people thought it was a light going off. Quite personally, I really did think it was a light going off. Sorry, that's just my personal opinion. But everybody is, welcome to their opinion as well. Pink. I just seen someone talking about the two roommates, that one passed out after seeing Ethan in the kitchen, and the other roommate was so upset they could not understand her. Yes, this is why the confusion with the 911 calls. Because, from the onset, when we found out that there was this 911 call for a person unconscious, everyone assumed that one of the roommates had called and said, "Oh, there's a person unconscious here." That was not the case. One of the roommates saw Ethan. They went to fetch friends, probably in a state of shock or panic or whatever have you. And once they reached these friends, and it was Bethany, I believe, that passed out. She fainted. So they called 911. They didn't know what was going on at the house at that moment, but she had fainted. Whatever she was saying. But yes, so this is why the 911 came in for a fainted person. It was one of the surviving roommates who had allegedly saw Ethan and ran out to neighbors and fainted. Sorry, Jess, I missed your last live. No, it's fine, love. You're fine. I'm just glad you're here now. But yeah, so that's what that was. But there seems to be, I don't know what it is. I keep seeing the 911, because we all have that question: who actually called 911? What was said? And I see all these 911, Idaho stuff, but I've yet to hear the actual call. If you guys have heard the call, feel free to put the channel's name in the chat, because I would like to play and hear it myself and give a live reaction. I might even turn my camera on to just give a live reaction. But yeah, I have not actually heard the 911 calls yet, because I cannot find them. So I don't know. I don't want to say it's clickbait, but it seems that way. So Pink is saying, I just seen someone talking about the two roommates. Oh, I already put that up. Sorry, guys. Blue Gold. They said many people talk to 911. Call not released. Lots of clickbait out there. Yeah, this Joseph Morris guy literally producing, because that's what he did. An alleged recording of the victims of this crime screaming out. He made this up. The video that was the original video has been found. It's been played. He made this up. And I'm going to tell you, I'm going to echo. You know what? Let's do that. That's the person that I want to listen to right now. It's Cinema Shogun, because Cinema Shogun pretty much says this perfectly. They're going to come after the true crime community. You know, we've had a court case shut down recently. We have YouTubers that are going to people's houses and screaming and yelling and doing all of these things and causing cop resources to be wasted. And now, we have a multiple time offender, Joseph Morris, that is
Looking for something new to do?
quote unquote covering this case.
You'll keep your own hours.
What's up, Cinema Shogun?
I love Cinema Shogun.
Gather around, grab a snack, maybe a drink, and get ready for story time with Cinema Shogun. Now, this story takes place way back in the day when I was just a wee little lad on YouTube, back during the Gabby Petito case, back when my channel first started to grow. During that case, and while I was covering that case, there was another YouTuber that was also covering the case. And he was constantly putting fake information out there, constantly doing some really foul things. My first time running into this YouTuber was when he shared a photo of another deceased woman and pretended that it was Gabby Petito on an autopsy table. That really put a bad taste in my mouth about this dude. And then, I'm sure a lot of you all know about this one. This same guy, he goes and he finds some random video on Instagram. He shared it and pretended as if it was Brian Laundrie accidentally going live, showing that he was on a boat. The water. And that made the internet go nuts.
Okay, so I talked about this earlier in the stream. I watched this happen live. What he is saying is absolutely factual. I actually watched this Joseph Morris stream where he showed this boat. I know exactly what Cinema Shogun is talking about. This happened. So, okay.
That made the internet go crazy. This guy and this guy alone was responsible for a lot of the conspiracies and wild theories that were floating out there during the Gabby Petito case. So eventually enough became enough for me, because I was constantly, people sending me his videos, hey, did you see this? Did you hear about this? And I was spending so much time out of my day having to tell people, no, this is fake, this is not real. And I got a lot of pushback for it as well, because back then, I believe I had maybe around 26,000 subscribers. And this dude had like 200,000. So when I called it out, people felt like I was hating on him.
I want to stop right there again. Joseph Morris, I'm sorry, does have like 200,000 subscribers, which is completely insane, because he has knowingly and been caught very freely, literally making up content that is not factual at all in the true crime genre. He's been caught doing this. This is not the first case. He's doing this in the Idaho4 case. He did this in the Gabby Petito case. What I find really gross about him is, I'll say two things about him. Very attractive, good-looking guy. And I feel like he uses that because if you watch his videos, he's a really attractive, good-looking guy. He looks unassuming. He got a dog. And during, the Gabby Petito case, Cinema Shogun is saying that he got this dog because of him. Whether he did or not, I don't know. But he did get this dog, and I noticed this. And it was a male dog, but he named it Gabby. So for his current streams, he gets this dog and he like pulls the dog up and he's like, me and my host Gabby. You could tell that if this dog could get as far away from him as it possibly could, it absolutely would. I always noticed how uncomfortable the dog
because
seems.
he was a bigger channel. But I was just telling people, hey, Ryan's a fake video. So I got a lot of pushback back then. And after calling this dude out, I noticed that he literally started trying to copy my style. Back then, I used to do my videos with my two dogs. And I guess after calling him out and him noticing who I was and him seeing the success of my videos, he went out and bought a dog. A male dog that he named Gabby. It was really weird. And then got another dog and then basically tried to copy my style. And then he went on to, post fake news about every other story that he covered. It got to the point where if I was covering a story and I noticed that he started talking about the same topic, I would just drop that topic altogether because I just did not want to be covering the same stories as him. Because when you do, you constantly get sent these fake news articles that constantly are fake, fake news and clips of what he said, and it's all fake, bogus BS. And you would just spend half your day having to sift through all of that nonsense in your inboxes. So, he kept doing his thing. I'm doing my thing. Everyone's doing their thing. And then recently, actually during the whole Johnny Depp Amber Heard situation, I think this maybe was a month or so ago. I don't even think it was that long ago. This dude got exposed because he was sharing fake videos once again. He shared a fake video of Amber Heard taking a poop in the middle of the street. He shared a fake video of, I believe, what was supposedly Amber Heard fighting and getting into arguments and all of this. And all of it is fake. All of it is weird fake stuff. This guy goes and he gets audio clips online from random stuff, and then he'll add it to a video. And it's just next level weird stuff that this guy does. So now let's bring it to today. I noticed recently that this guy started covering the Idaho4 case. And a lot of people have been reaching out to me asking me to cover the Idaho4 case. I get messages about it every day. And even though the case is really interesting and I've been looking into the case, I've refrained from covering it because at the time when this case started taking off, I was in the middle of covering the Quentin Simon case. I started covering the Shanquella Robinson case. And I just got a lot going on, and I don't want to take on another big story, let alone I already saw the writing on the wall, and I already knew that this case was going to go completely bonkers. Because this is the most popular true crime case right now. It's what everyone's talking about. And of course, the weirdos are going to sink their teeth into it to try to drain whatever money they can out of it while spreading whatever fake lies they can and pointing the finger at people, the usual circus that happens when the true crime community, starts talking about a certain case. So I kind of fell back, and I've just been watching, spectating, even though there are really interesting things that I would like to talk about, things that I would like to touch on. For instance, the fact that they found a skinned dog and they acted like it was nothing. Hey, this isn't related. I don't know. There's a lot of stuff that I would like to talk about here. But I've refrained from doing so, and I noticed that this dude started covering the case. So I already knew we were going to get some type of fake something. Well,
say that again, brother.
Let me go ahead and say this. Shout out to Iggy Mel. If you haven't already, go watch Iggy Mel's latest video.
He's shouting out Ikmel, and we are going to watch Ikmel after this because he really lays it out. Both of these gentlemen, Cinema Shogun and Ikmel, really lay this whole thing out for you guys. But it's not something that I have not noticed from Joseph Morgan or Morris. I keep on Morgan, Morris prior. And I noticed this in the Gabby Petito case, just as he's saying the boat video was ridiculous, and the scream from the Idaho4 was put out by this man. Well, actually, I'm going to let Ikmel explain how this happened. But yeah, okay, go ahead.
Because he exposes this dude. But not only does he expose this dude, he exposes how he creates these fake videos and fake evidence, and now He's gone so far as to even fabricate already existing news articles to make them look as if they're real while he's live streaming. He's taken everything you thought you knew about the horrible people in the true crime community and he's elevated it. Not only do we have the hecklers, not only do we have the conspiracy theorists, now we have some dude that will go so hard to spread a lie about a case that he will fabricate a news article and he will create fake videos just for the hell of it. Honestly, this guy's got over 200,000 subscribers. I think that he could get views just covering the case. But instead, he constantly, like, there's something off in this guy's brain or something. There's like this need.
I totally agree with Cinema here, Cinema Shogun. While I was watching Joseph Morris, again, attractive man. He has his dog. You can tell the dog would like to divorce him at any minute. But there's just something off. That's my perspective. That's my opinion. There's just something off. Okay? My opinion again. He can say what he wants about me. That's what I'm saying.
That he has. Like this undeniable need that he has to just spread fake news about stuff purposely. I'm not talking about, oh, he shared some speculation that turned out to be wrong. No, like he literally goes on the internet, grabs videos, and grabs audios from random stuff, combines it together, and it's really out of this world. It's really out of this world. He goes so hard just to lie. And I would suggest that you go over and watch Email's channel or go watch his latest video because he breaks it all down how this guy does this. But long story short, this guy went and found a video of, I believe, a woman that was getting attacked, a woman that was in a DV situation. And she was yelling,
Yes.
leave me alone, stuff like that in the video. So he takes that audio, and then he recorded himself breathing hard.
Yes, this is rumored where this guy, Joseph Moore, got this video from. It's rumored, but there's been some proof shown. He got this from an actual domestic violence video that was posted where a woman was saying, "Stop, leave me alone." The video has been posted. And then they are also saying that he pretty much used his own breath to add extra dramatics to this video. So
over that audio, threw that audio out there, and acted as if that was audio from the night that the Idaho4 got killed. But not just that. Creating that fake audio evidence was not enough. Tampering with an ongoing investigation was not enough. He then pulls up what appears to be a real news article, and it was a news article, but using his little sly trickery, he changes around the words and he fabricates what was a real news article, and then he puts his own words in there as well. So his words that he added to this news article back up the audio that he posted. So not only is he lying, he's lying to cover up the lie. Not only is he providing fake evidence,
that's
he's
true.
creating more fake stuff to cover up the fake stuff he already created. This dude is next level. He's playing 3D chess.
3D chess.
It's really, really bizarre to me that people would go this far. That people would take it so far as to create a fake news article just to lie about some young people who got murdered. It's so pointless.
Yeah, I gotta stop him there again. This case is so, again, I will use this word. I do not use it in a celebratory way. It's a crazy unique case, an incredible case in the worst way. I don't think that you need to make up anything about this case, even though there is, not a lot from law enforcement coming out. There is a reason for that. And, you just do not need to fabricate. You could talk about Kaylee, Maddie, their personalities, Ethan and Zena, which I'm very focused on Ethan and Zena. But you could talk about all four of these victims without having to make up things. I find that crazy. Why would you do that? I really do think that, I don't know if Cinema Shogun says this or Ikamel says it, one of them. But one of them basically says, like, there's gonna be some consequences for the true crime community. I mean, and I believe that they are correct. We have the Idaho police coming out and straight up saying, if you screw around, I'm going to paraphrase them, okay? If you screw around, you want to mess with this case online, whatever, you could be facing charges. So they are putting everyone on notice. We are taking this very seriously. This is a quadruple murder on, well, not on, right off of campus, but practically on. And we're not going to deal with all this crazy. So Joseph Morris, who is literally making up audio and having other YouTubers see this, analyze it, talk about it. I've seen big creators. I've seen Michelle Walking. I've seen a lot of bigger creators that covered this because they didn't know. Here's a guy that seems like this audio could be relevant, couldn't be, and they covered it. But this guy is a complete fraud. Okay, so if you are subscribed to him, I don't know. I'm not going to tell you what to do. You're an adult, but you might want to take a second glance.
It's so unneeded. And this is the type of stuff you have to deal with every day while covering one of these cases. And that's why YouTubers, the ones who are fair and honest and try to do a good job and try to do it and try to tell the truth, that's why you're noticing these YouTubers starting to call this stuff out. Because it's getting to a point where it feels almost as if we can't even coexist with these people anymore. Because they're going extremely too hard.
I agree.
It's ruined everything. Mel made a really good point in his video. He said something along the lines of, when you call these liars out, all it really does is make them a better liar. Because I've noticed this guy that we're talking about, there's no shame in his game. Me, if I post some wrong information, I automatically feel bad. I automatically try to clear it up. This dude goes out of his way. He wakes up every single morning without a care in the world. Doesn't care that people are calling him out. Doesn't care about none of that. It's just business as usual. Every day, wakes up, he creates some fake stuff about a news story, and then he sends it out there in the world. And it causes all type of drama and all type of mayhem, and all he does is sit back and reap the benefits. So there's no shame in his game. And calling him out, like Mel said, it only makes him a better liar. Because now he's reached like Super Saiyan liar level, like a whole new transformation. Once you get to the point that you're sharing or you're bringing up news articles on your live streams or on your videos, and you're reading the news article, and your audience doesn't know that in reality you fabricated the news article, they could go look up the news article and the news article exists. But if they click on it, they'll realize the words in that news article are totally different. There's paragraphs missing because this YouTuber is adding paragraphs to news articles, and he's bringing them up like he's just, reading a news article straight off of Google, when in reality, he's reading some stuff that he typed himself.
That's actually exactly what he did. He took a news article. Okay, let's be clear. He took a news article, I believe, from the Daily Mail. He read part of it. He added a lot of his own stuff in there and took out their stuff, but he did not say that. He made it sound like it was their article. So this is what Cinema's Shogun is talking about.
Just to trick you about a true crime case. If you ask me, this goes beyond just grifting. I know a lot of people be like, of course he wants to click, they can make money. I understand that. But this has to go.
Can I just ask you guys, I do have 26 people in this chat. It's an extraordinary amount of people, but I only have 2 likes. If you guys could hit the like button for me, I would really appreciate it. I did take a month-long hiatus with the death of my family, but this is my passion. I do like to cover true crime and report on it. If you guys could hit the like button for me, I don't ask for super chats or things like that, even though they are greatly appreciated, or what are they called? Cash apps and things like that. Greatly appreciated. But I don't ask for that. But if it's free, you don't have to pay anything. But if you would hit the like button for me, it would help.
Oh, beyond just grifting. This is like some pathological lie.
All right, I have to stop. Lee with love, thank you so much. I truly appreciate that. I love your little emoji person that is saying thank you. Lee with love is sending a $10 super sticker. And I really appreciate that. It means a lot to me. It just means a lot to me. Thank you.
Type stuff. This is like a personality disorder on full display for everyone to see. And I honestly kind of feel bad for the dude. And what I mean by that, I feel bad for the guy from the standpoint of like, I doubt he has any friends or loved ones around him. Because when you're this type of pathological liar, you tend to push people away. And people like this, I believe they become like this from not having enough human interaction. You know what I mean? Like, on a daily basis, if you're interacting with human beings, it molds you in a certain way, right? Sometimes you become your environment. The environment molds you into who you are sometimes. Social interactions, they don't dictate who you are as a person, but they can mold who you are. And I feel like this dude hasn't interacted with enough human beings in life to realize that human beings are turned off by complete liars. So he's kind of like that person that doesn't fit in with your friend group, so he feels like he has to tell these wild stories and one-upper. You know, if you went to Disney World, this guy went to Disney World twice. Like the liar, you know, the fabricator. He's like that type of person because I feel like he doesn't feel like as if he could fit in any other way. His way of trying to fit in this space on YouTube is, oh, I must lie about stuff for people to care about me or something. I don't know. I really do think that we could boil it down to some type of psychological issues with this dude because he's like a serial offender. It's constantly. But I've been making this point for a while now, and I know it may seem like I'm ranting, and I know a lot of people may find it hard to believe. Stuff like this is going to fast track true crime from not being allowed on YouTube anymore. YouTube is cracking down on stuff all the time. YouTube cracks down on my channel every couple of months when I cover a story that they don't really like. YouTube will crack down on the true crime community if this stuff continues. Hell, law enforcement in Idaho, they've been talking about charges against people online who are harassing people and stuff. So it's going to come to an ugly head, a dramatic conclusion eventually. And I hope everyone's ready for that because I don't see anything getting any better. I know me and other people, we try to call this stuff out, and I don't want to be talking about this. I think Mel said the same thing. None of us want to wake up and have to talk about stupid shit that other YouTubers are doing. But sometimes you feel almost as if you're forced to because you get thousands or hundreds or dozens of messages from people sending you fake information. And if some...
And he is speaking the truth. Lee with love, I want to thank you again. I'm going to go back to my screen so I can put you up there. I didn't actually put the first person up there. But thank you guys. It does make me feel really good, and I appreciate it. So, but what Cinema Shogun was saying was absolutely relevant and true. And I want to read what Lee with Love said. Lee with Love said, super sticker, $10. Peer character bowing down saying thank you. Aw, that's really kind of you. I really appreciate that. I can only I'm sorry. No, you're fine, Colleen. You are fine, love. I'm not in a good place, but you deserve it. Just thank you. Colleen, you're fine. A like is great. Anybody at this time that's willing to donate, I will absolutely accept it and be very thankful for it. But I am not demanding anything, so I just appreciate you guys. I do want to play one more video. And no, this is not it. We're gonna play. Is this it? Yep, this is it. So we're gonna play Ikmal. He has a 12-minute video that he did on this, Joseph Morris, and we're gonna play him. What do I have this speed at? 1.5. We'll leave it there. Okay.
You want to make sure you watch this entire video because I have multiple things to show you why this was fabricated. Like we have the original source of the audio, and I don't know what kind of audio, like what modification you made to the audio. There's multiple things you could have done. You can add reverb, you can do all kinds of things.
things to make audio sound like it's outside. Though I think maybe you just held the audio at a distance and made it sound like it was outside, and you just breathed over it.
Okay, I'm gonna have to slow Ikmal down. I didn't realize he talked so fast, so I'm gonna slow him down to 1.25. But he's basically saying that audio can be manipulated, which it can.
In this particular,
If you guys, I'm sorry, I'm going to have to trigger warn you. We're gonna go back to the beginning of this video. Ikmal is letting you hear the scream, the quote unquote scream. And again, I want you to remember this is not real. This did not come from the females that were murdered inside of this house. This came from a domestic violence victim. The video was already online and he manipulated it. But it can still be triggering to some people. So I just want to give you a heads up on that. You will hear a female scream something along the lines of stop and leave me alone. Okay, so I'm just gonna let you guys know that now. I'm gonna go ahead and play it.
Make sure you watch the entire video because I have multiple things to show you why this was fabricated. Like we have the original source of the audio, and I don't know what kind of audio, like what modification you made to the audio. There's multiple things you could have done. You can add reverb. You can do all kinds of things to make audio sound like it's outside. Though I think maybe you just held the audio at a distance and made it sound like it was outside, and you just breathed over it. In this particular test, I'm not going to spend all day long trying to figure out which audio modification to use, but this one is reverb and low pass filter.
Your eyes are gonna look years and years younger in 2 minutes.
Sorry.
You're gonna have better looking eyes. It's gonna look.
What is up, particular Mel? And we have to talk about some things. Which to Joseph Morris, a YouTuber, that came out with some audio yesterday that he claimed a neighbor released. I don't want to have to talk about this or get into this, but this is pretty despicable. Okay, what happened here yesterday, and the reason I feel like we need to talk about this, and I got to take you through multiple things, so you're gonna have to watch this whole video. And he's done this before. It's not the first time with the Gabby Petito case and Brian Laundrie, where he took old video and put it out as new. And one of the big gripes that I have about doing this on this case is that one, people could be watching this guy's videos thinking it's real, calling police, calling FBI, blowing up the tip line because of this supposed fake audio. Not only was the audio taken from somewhere else and put out as the neighbor released this,
he is absolutely on point here. And this is where, our police departments, especially small town police departments, are already overloaded. So he's just on point here that, someone faking this video, which Joseph Morris did, there's going to be a lot of calls into this police department. There was this audio release. It's just going to happen. It is incredibly irresponsible. It's disrespectful. There's a number of words I can use, but I think Ikmal does the best job on this. I'm going to let him go.
This audio, this article that he has here, is fabricated. He edited the HTML, typed up what he wanted to say, and then played the audio behind it. Now, let me play this short clip here.
I don't know if you can hear it. I'm going to loop it over and over again.
So stop it, leave me alone. Those are 2 audio clips, right? Now, this took a lot of effort from people on my Discord server. Lisa Mo, Manny, I think Diggs this morning was helping out. Multitude of people helping out and looking in. I think other people on the internet as well. I'm not trying to leave anybody out. But so we have the raw audio. Okay, so the raw audio, check this out.
Stop it!
Stop it.
Stop it!
The other thing now, leave me alone.
I just want to stop here and say that this person, Joseph Morris, who you see over here on the left-hand corner, that is him. He's putting this together. He's manufacturing this for the families of these 4 young people with their lives ahead of them who are clawing at law enforcement to please give them any kind of information. They've even got so desperate they've just asked the media, just tell me something. Okay. For this, they have been checking YouTube. That's something that I have heard. That they do check YouTube often. For this person to put this out and it's fake, can you imagine what the parents of Kaylee, the parents of Maddie, the parents of Zena, this is a female voice, what they must be thinking hearing this? And I will remind you that Joseph Morris appears to be a legitimate YouTuber, but he is not. Okay?
Same exact thing. The only difference is his audio seems to have some sort of modification on there, where it's either, I think it's either audio filtered to make it sound like it's outside, or he's playing this on another device outside somewhere, and it's actually him just breathing on the phone. Now, the source of the audio, that's a whole other thing. If you go online and you look up, I have to give a huge warning on this. Don't go watch it yourself unless you're prepared, because it's like a woman that seems to be having this domestic violence.
Yes, please take this warning seriously. It is a woman that is in the middle of a domestic violence incident, and she's screaming out to her attacker to leave her alone. So what Ikmel is saying, please take note.
Situation going on, and her and some guy are screaming, and the guy hits her. It looks like she starts bleeding, and that's where this audio comes from. If you look up Jewel Rancid live stream takes a turn, you can find that audio. And thank you, Lisa, for finding that and sending that information to me. Now, there's a whole thing that's weird with that couple as well, because I've seen multiple videos from that couple that looks like it's either fabricated or they're trying to put on a show. It's very weird. Maybe that'll be a whole nother topic. But one more time, I'm going to do the audio, then we'll get to the next one. Stop it.
Stop it!
Pay attention to what you're saying about
Yeah,
yourself,
so he's playing the
your family,
audio
your
that
finances,
Joseph
your
Morris
health.
played that is fabricated.
Leave me alone!
Now to the next point of lying and fabrication. So he has this article here, right? Daily Mail article, clearly. And this whole part here is fabricated. And I can tell you why. I have a multitude of reasons why. People from Discord, people from the Twitter community, they've reached out to the reporter that wrote this article. They tagged the reporter, they tagged the Daily Mail here, they tagged Joseph Morris, which I hear Joseph Morris on Twitter now, he's blocking anybody that questions him about this article and the authenticity of the audio. And so this person here replied and tagged Daily Mail, wondering if you can enlighten inquiring minds as to whether this highlighted piece was originally part of your article. Seems suspect to me as I read the article online and never seen this highlighted part. Looks odd, like it's tampered with, to be honest. Guy that wrote the article replies back, yes. Fake news, yes, tampered. Another thing, I went and pulled up the article as well, myself. I pulled up the exact portion that this guy has, where it says Moscow Chief Police attends, and it has this whole thing you can pause and go back and forth if you want. This whole part here does not exist. What I suspect this guy did was on this second line here, he added the first line. If you go back here, you see on his fabrication, these two parts, the victims and the 3 women, that's combined together. It's supposed to be separate on the original article. He combines them together in the second line, and he replaces the first line with the fake information that he wanted.
Yeah, so he's made up his own article, basically.
I've seen this many times online. I watch these YouTubers that expose scammers, and what these scammers will do is they'll edit the HTML on a website on the person's computer. So you're not actually changing what the website says. You're only changing it on your end locally through the web browser. So let me show you. So you click here, right? I'm going to modify the second line here, and I'm going to add the first line like this guy did, right? You go to right-click, inspect, and then on the line that's highlighted, you right-click and you hit edit as HTML. And here you have the line, the text line of what this guy, what the article says. And so I'm going to add the first line like this person did, Joseph. Okay, I'm here.
I want you to watch how
Added line
Iqbal does
from the
this,
face.
because he does it very easily.
Now look what it says. Okay. The first line added to the second line. Now here, I'm gonna inspect this one and modify this, right?
So he changed
Those
it.
some more combine the first and second line. Then you go back under HTML, inspect, edit, and you can put in whatever you want. Joseph
Whatever you want.
Morris.
And that's what he did.
Up audio for clicks and views on for deceased victims. Change it. Boom. I put it. I messed up there. I put it D, but you get what I'm saying. First and second line combined. You modify the first line, and you add in whatever you want, and then you do this little audio crap. Make a book. I don't even think that guy got as many views as they thought he was going to get. I'm going to show you what this guy did with the Brian Laundrie.
I don't think so
I
either.
don't want to waste my time Saturday making a video on this person, but honestly, it's despicable what this person is doing. I don't even know how to describe it. Desperate, but also it shows somebody's character. That you have no kind of integrity, no morality. You're willing to do whatever. You're willing to scrape the bottom of the barrel to make shit up just to get views. And you don't have to do that. You can just cover the story and you'll do fine. But you're creating and fabricating stuff. And the thing I learned about liars, every time you tell a liar and you call out a liar, all they do is get better because some of these people don't change because they're their character. All they do is improve. So this guy now went to lengths, a little bit further now this time. Who knows what he's going to do next time? People like this are dangerous because who knows what kind of lies he'll make up on anybody he doesn't like. He'll make up an article on you and change the word. He'll grab audio from any other place and say, hey, you did this. Hey, you're doing that. Hey, you're hitting somebody. You're beating somebody. He'll just put some audio from anywhere. This guy will make up anything. If you're willing to do this on 4 people that were murdered, an unsolved case, if you're willing to literally potentially interfere with an investigation, if you're literally willing to take resources away, because now who knows how many people called into the tip line. Now you have to investigate.
Amen.
Now you potentially have people going after this neighbor guy that multiple articles reported on, but he never released any kind of audio. Now people can start stalking this guy, harassing him, searching him down because of this thing that you made up. Now this guy, thank you, Mo put this together for me. We only need to watch the first portion of this video. People have exposed this guy on this before too. With Brian Laundrie, this guy put out a video saying that Brian Laundrie's Instagram live temporarily went live for a couple of seconds. He was on a boat. The internet went crazy.
I saw this. Yes, I
so accidentally for 2 to 3 seconds, and viewers saw water as if he were on a boat. And that's the real reason why the FBI called off the investigation in the Florida Wildlife Refuge.
The actual video. It's an older video. And I think Riley Lively is the one that exposed this and found out.
Yes, Lolo, it is. Iqbal is literally exposing this guy. Cinema Shogun did as well. That scream was fabricated. That video is not authentic. It's not real. This guy put this together, which is absolutely disgusting. But I'm going to continue on.
This whole situation. This is the real video. This is this guy's.
So what Iqbal is showing is back to the Gabby Petito case. Joseph Morris put out this video, and he alleged that it was Brian Laundrie, and he had accidentally gone live, and it was fake. It was somebody else's video. He stole it and put it on YouTube as something real.
MO. He goes, looks up other videos, adds it to new stories, and makes it part of the story so he can have some sort of exclusive reviews. Dude, like, I don't even know what else to say without, and I'm being nice and I'm being polite. This is me being polite because it's just disgusting because you're giving, I mean, obviously the YouTube community has a bad day already, but you're making it worse, you know? And so I don't know. I thought it was really important to come out with this video because who knows if there's other people out there he's lied on, who knows what other stories this guy just fabricates and literally makes things up. You know what I'm saying? This is the thing that people need to put energy on if they're going to try to call out something for being fake. That's fake.
I completely agree with Mel. Again, I'll say it a million times. I'm not a detective. I'm not anyone. I'm just a normal person like you guys. So when people like Joseph Morris try, and he's succeeded, he has over 200,000 subscribers from putting out fake information and people that want to click all over it, and they do. I did. I was a person that did that during the Gabby Petito case. Like I said before, I subscribed to him. I watched him a couple times. I realized this guy's full of shit. He's just repeating the same things over and over again, and this is nobody else is reporting this crap. And I unsubscribed from him because I just knew that it was the right thing to do. And here we are, months and months later, and he's really being exposed for what he has done. Lee would love. Iqbal learned this the hard way by someone lying to him. Listen, I love Iqbal. Okay, this guy, he always stays calm. He says what it is. You just never get bad vibes from Iqbal. You just really don't. Despite his name, you just don't. Or at least I don't. Lolo, what a disgusting individual. Yes, exactly. This person, as if the Idaho4 murders are not enough to take in the families, the friends, the public. This guy with 200,000 subscribers decides that, you know what? And again, this is not the first case he's done it in. He did it in the Gabby Petito case. I watched that live. He's doing it now in the Idaho4 murders. He is literally making stuff up, making it up, and posting it as something real. And because he has so many subscribers, people get confused. Again, he looks like a legitimate channel. He's got all the right tech and all the right things. He holds his little dog up every time, he goes live. I will say again that his dog would like to just be away from him. I see that. I've watched enough of his live streams that his dog just looks like, can you please let me go and put me down and leave me alone? I swear, his dog, and the dog, so he was doing all of this stuff during the Gabby Petito case. I watched this live. I don't need any other YouTuber to tell me this because I was watching it. But he really did post a video, and he was the only YouTuber that did this, and said that, that I'm aware of, that Brian Laundrie was on this boat. He accidentally, hit his live button. None of this was proven to be true. He got a dog. It's a male dog. He named it Gabby. And now, if you go and watch his videos, he literally pulls this poor dog up. And it's like, here's Gabby. And Gabby's like, for the love of God, can you just let me go? Like, I'm just reading Gabby's face. And Gabby's face is like, for the love of God, please let me go. And he eventually does because she just doesn't want to be next to him. But either way, I'm not going to be super petty. But it's just, even, yeah, Lolo, I swear, if you can just please go watch this man. Don't watch this whole video. Don't give him the whole view. But just, he always does this, like in the beginning of the stream, like in the first 5 minutes or so. Just watch him pull up his dog, Gabby, again, who is a male, but he named after Gabby Petito. Whatever. But he pulls the dog up, and this dog every time looks like, why are you holding me? I don't like you. I barely know you. You're only doing this for clicks and views. I know what you're doing. Like this dog looks like if it could talk, it would say a whole bunch of shit. That's what this dog looks like. And I look at Gabby the dog as dog. Like, I feel you, bro. I feel you. Okay. I see this dude as well. So anyway, Lee Would Love is saying there was a lot of this on the Kylie case. Yeah, there was. That's why it's kind of important to stick to facts. We can speculate. There's nothing wrong with that. We can all speculate. We can all say, well, it could be this or this or this. The most important thing is speculation is speculation. Harassing people in real life that you do not know are guilty, innocent. You don't know that. Doing any of that, contacting them, running up on their residence, on their jobs, on things like that, absolute no's. Okay? You do not know if these people are guilty or innocent or what. You don't know that. So leave people alone. Okay? When there's people brought up, like Emma on Crime Stories Obsessed, she was showing what was happening around the time of the murders. That day, that night, the next day. She was showing all of these things. But it does not mean that she is saying, hey guys, find out who these people are and like go harass them. No. We are discussing cases. I actually am very, very happy with Idaho because Idaho just straight up said, basically, if you guys like keep around with our stuff, with our investigation, with our things, like we're gonna think about charges. And I'm not mad at them saying it because I've actually been waiting for a police department to do this. To say, you know what? Um Hold on. Because I do wanna I thought I had this pulled up, but I didn't. I thought I had what they said pulled up. Oh, where is it? Why is it so hard to find? Okay. I'll just. Let me see if this is it. No. Nope. They just released this, but I'm sure you guys have seen this. They were saying that, if you are going to basically make a mockery of this case, of disinformation, to do all of this kind of thing, you could be facing potential charges. And I read that and I did a secret cheer. Like in my head, like it's about damn time. I do not, I will never, I'm an American, so judge me as you will. But we have been born, raised, spoon fed free speech. And that's something to Americans, to my listeners and subscribers that are outside of my country. Just please understand that in the United States, we are literally taught this very, very early on. Free speech, say what we want, do what we want within reason, but definitely speak your mind. So a lot of people are like, oh, Americans are so arrogant and they're so rude. Just understand that we are encouraged to not be arrogant or rude, but to definitely speak our minds from an early age. Voting is a huge thing in this country, and we're encouraged multiple times on multiple different platforms. However, you will have it, TV, telephone, social media, to use our vote. So if Americans come across that way, I am sorry. We aren't mean people. Whatever our government does is not reflective of us. And I hope that people understand that, because we're judged. Fellow Americans that are watching this, if you don't know, we are very, very much judged for what our government does, and it's unfortunate. But I did send this to myself, and now I can't find it. Of course. Of course. Looking. Ton of emails that I have not opened. Oh, well, there's a couple I want to open. Okay. So there's another one I want to open. Okay, sorry. I'm just trying to. I have so many darn emails all the time. This is why I think I just prefer people. Can you just call me? Like, just call me. We'll just talk about it. Like, I don't want to email. I don't want to text. I hate texting. I really do. Like, I need to hear your voice. I need to hear, yeah. So, yeah, I'm kind of like that. But I do get a lot of emails. What's this name? Let me look. I'm sorry. Oh, yes. Okay, so this is it. I don't know why Ethan's picture is there. But anyway, I'm going to share my screen again. Drop the chat down. Hide this message. Drop this down. And I want to get my emails because I'm sure you guys have seen this. But I just want to be really clear. Because when a police department puts a statement out this boldly, they're not messing around. Okay, so at the top of it, it says Idaho murders update. Moscow police department, quote, investigators have been monitoring online activity related to this ongoing and active case, and are aware of the large amounts of rumors and misinformation being shared, as well as harassing and threatening behavior towards potentially involved parties. Anyone engaging in threats or harassment, whether in person, online, or otherwise, needs to understand that they could be subjecting themselves to criminal charges. Very, very, very important message. And I'm actually going to leave that up for a minute. Tamara is saying the actual true crime community would not intentionally do anything to mess up an investigation or a case. Tamara, fully agree. Hey, Fly Smeagol's Fly. How are you? Yes, that's my buddy. But yeah, they're not playing around, and I think that as long as the true crime community goes on, there is nothing stopping you from talking to people, and there is nothing stopping people from talking to you. I do think attorneys need to start specializing in, and this could be like a new line of work. Start specializing in what true crime channels you should speak on and which ones you should not. It's a really crazy world, and I see family after family come onto this platform, and they're looking for help. And they're looking for, like, if we put it out there to everyone, they'll help us, aka Candace Cooley, Justin Rounds. But what ends up happening is the family is attacked. The people in the family are attacked. Anyone related to the family attacked. The friends are attacked. Pretty much anyone. And in the Idaho4 case, we've seen that already. There was one neighbor that had the audacity to speak, Jeremy Reagan. This guy has been raked over the coals. There has been so much said about him. He is not a suspect. Law enforcement has said this. He's not a suspect. I always say this. It's kind of funny about Jeremy Reagan, but he was like, "This is my last interview. I'm done with this. Like, this is crazy." And then he did like 4 more interviews or something. But I've said this in prior cases. I said this is Summer Wells's case. I've said this in other cases, that every time someone comes out with information, if you are going to attack them, deem them a liar, and do all of this sort of thing, less and less people will come forward. Okay? So sometimes you have to listen and look at and determine, and I'm putting this in all caps. If you guys are listening, just know that in my brain I am typing capital NOT. Do not assume that someone is just a perpetrator. Do not go after this person. Oh, thank you, babe. I really appreciate that. Tyler coming in, hey you. Hey you. I think you're very much waiting for me to come to bed, babe. So Tyler coming in with a $2 super chat. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that, babe. But yeah, back to this, the Idaho Police Department coming out with this statement. This is a very strong statement. They are in no uncertain terms telling everyone, if you want to come out and just start stating BS, please know that you are subjecting yourself to criminal charges. I really don't think it gets any clearer than that. If people cannot read the room or read between the lines, and actually the statement is so direct, I don't think you need to read between the lines, but it's there. And at this point, I'll be honest, I do watch very specific channels when it comes to this case. I did watch Chris McDonough. I did watch him in The Glove. I watched Plunder when it comes to this case. I watch Gisela when it comes to this case, Grizzly True Crime. The rest of the channels I don't watch. But I do watch those 3 the most, because I feel like they are the most factual, they're the most fair. They don't put all of this nonsense in the middle of it. So Lee would love Chris McDonough rocks. Yeah, you know what? Lee would love. I like Chris. There are absolutely 1000% people on YouTube that do not like him. He does have a lot of haters. And then he has a lot of people who like him. I personally think that Chris is human. I think that people are, again, nuanced. I say this all the time. People are not black and white. I do think that Chris has made mistakes on YouTube. One of those mistakes was the Gabby Petito case, when he latched on to the nomadic trek person and thought that it could be the perpetrator. It was a mistake. It was a misstep. Did it really affect this person's life in the most negative way? No. Did anybody go after this person? No, because they were anonymous. So yeah, has Chris got it wrong? Sure. He's human, right? But I do think that Chris does mean well. There are channels that I follow that absolutely do not like Chris at all, but I still respect their opinion. But I do like Chris McDonough, and if you don't, that's okay. You don't have to look at life the way I do. Look at life the way you do. If you like him, cool. So that's how I feel about it. Tamara, something happened to the coffee in my cup. I thought I just poured that. What? Leave with the. Let me read. Tyler, no one is perfect, babe. Not even me. LOL. Yeah, listen, that is him definitely saying he's perfect. If you guys don't know this person, I do. I love you, babe. Then Tyler saying hi to Tamara. Tamara, Lord Tyler, if she doesn't know you're not perfect, don't tell her now. Oh, listen. I am fully aware that Tyler Carver actually, this person has a very high self-esteem. Okay, we'll say that. Very confident person, very driven person. Those are the traits that have always attracted me to him, honestly. I think Tyler is a good-looking person. He's an attractive person, but his drive, his ambition, the most attractive thing about him, in my opinion. And he had the audacity recently, you guys, randomly decided he was just going to shave his beard. He has not done this in November in years. I am convinced this person has joined a gym and probably cheating on me. If I catch him, I'll do a whole video on it. I don't know. Either way, he shaved his beard. I had like this adverse reaction, like, oh, like what happened? What's wrong with your face, basically? And then Aubrey just straight up told him, I don't like that. Grow your beard back. I don't know what happens to your face. We both had this reaction. And he was like, I just don't like how the beard. He was like, I've had the beard for so long. He was like, I don't like how, like, when I'm eating, like, things get in the beard. And he was like, I just don't like it. I just want to trim it down. And me and Aubrey are like, absolutely not. I am sorry, sir. I don't know what you're doing. But that beard that you shaved down, please grow that back. Because now you look like you're 10 and like you have joined a gym and trying to join another woman's household. I don't know what you're doing. We haven't had a good reaction to it. So anyway, Tamara. Oh, there's Tyler. Thanks, babe. Laugh my so yeah. Oh, shut it. Yeah, well, it's true. Mustache too. No, he didn't. He didn't really shave everything all the way, but Tyler at this time of year usually has a very full beard. And he shaved it so far down that I looked at him and was like, what the hell? And Aubrey was like, I don't like that. Like, grow your beard back. What did you do? So we're just not used to him looking like this at this time of year, basically. Tamara, a whole video, Tyler. Brianna, pretty sure that nomadic track guy turned out to be another true crime creator trying to set up Chris. Really, Brianna? I don't know who was actually the nomadic track guy. I'll be honest. I am a fan of Chris's. I am subscribed to his channel. I do watch him, and I have learned a lot from him. But you have to call a spade a spade. And when this nomadic track stuff was going on, I used to watch every single one of Chris's live streams. I still to this day like Chris a lot. But I watched it and I was like, first, this makes a lot of sense. I can definitely see why you think that this could be the person. And then the second thought was you have no proof, nothing, just a gut feeling, and no jury will convict on that. So I got mixed vibes. I got mixed feelings. I wasn't really sure. I still remained. I've never unsubscribed from Chris ever. But yeah, I just kind of was like, but I still love Chris. I think he does great work. With the Idaho 4 case, I had seen a ton of pictures of the house. But when Chris and his wife went there, you saw the surrounding areas and how it was all laid out. And I really appreciated that video because it made a lot of sense to me. So yeah. If you think that Chris is just, I guess, a terrible person and whatever, then I guess you can think that. But I think Chris has definitely done more good than bad in the true crime community. I've seen people do the most horrendous things, one of which I am highlighting on this video, which is Joseph Morris, who literally fabricated an entire audio clip of one of the victims. He never named who because he's made it up. But allegedly, one of the victims of the Idaho 4 screaming for her life. The original video was found. He added audio to it, and then he played it for the masses. And again, there were large channels that covered this. I actually seen, and I'm not disgracing her in any way because I enjoy her content very much. But I did see Michelle Walking say, was there a scream with a question mark? So, I actually have not listened to that. I usually listen to all of her videos. I just like her. I don't always agree with her, but I like her. So I listen to her. And I will, after this video, listen to her thing because her videos are usually, 20 to 30 minutes long, so not too long. But I'm going to listen to what she has to say and whether or not, she picked up that this was a fake or faked video. Lee would love at Brianna. That happened to Ikmel. It was a disaster. The Upchurch saga started with a guy lying to him and Mel believes it. Yeah, this is why I refuse to talk about Ryan Upchurch on this channel. I'm not a fan. What happened with the Kylie Ronnie case was insane, absurd, ridiculous. Maybe you might need to be committed for 30 days. I don't know. But it was completely insane. And there are still people to this day that they're very hardcore Ryan Upchurch fans. I do not want to talk about it. I unsubscribed to Ryan. I do not watch Ryan anymore because of what he did with that case. And that's my choice. That's what I did. If you still want to listen to Ryan or whatever, that's up to you. I'm not going to shame you. I'm not going to do anything like that. That's just literally up to you. But that's what I did. So. Let's see. Lee would love. I'm sorry. Tamara. In my opinion, the interviews Chris did in the Summers case let the public learn a lot about the lifestyle of Donna Candace. Yeah, there has been, you would be surprised, I think, there's a lot of hatred for Chris online, actually. There's a lot of channels that really criticize most of everything that he does, but again, I said it a million times and I'll say it again, the interviews and the video footage that he provided in the Summer Wells case, like you're saying, Tara, was invaluable. It really did give us a very close insight into their thought processes, into them as people. And I feel very much that way about the Idaho4 case, that Chris did the same. He went there. I did not know that there was a driveway that went up behind the house, how close the apartments were, all of that stuff. When I watched that, I was like, oh, wow. I'm sorry, I'm coughing. But yeah, it truly did give a lot of insight. Is Ray in here? Hi, Ray. I always love Ray. Such a sweet soul, this woman is. Me too. When Ryan said Kylie didn't ever exist, that was the end of him for me. Yeah. Same. Um, I watched that, all of that unfold, in real time. And I didn't comment a lot, but I got to the point where I did comment on Ryan's channel because he had said so much. Just completely absurd, ridiculous, wild conspiracy things. Kaylee didn't exist. It was all a psyops thing. Xana May committed a murder. Iqbal was, trafficking kids. It was just this, honestly, where Ryan lost me was when he started doing anagrams of their name. I actually saw that video on someone else's channel. I did not believe it was real. I went to Ryan's channel to confirm that it was real, and there it was. And I watched it, and I knew at that moment this is where we're going to part ways, because this is insane. You are taking these people's YouTube names, unscrambling them, making analogies out of them. That is just crazy. So yeah, it was just really, really nutty. And, I would read things. I would go to his channel and just scroll the comments to see the temperature of what was going on. And it felt equal parts. The people that were praising him, and I just thought, what are you doing? Like, stop it. Please stop. You are not helping. You're not helping him. You're not helping this case. You're hindering in the major, like the greatest way, the things that he was saying, I could not. I tried in the beginning to say, okay, well, Ryan's just on a different path. Ryan is seeing things Ryan's way. I like Ryan a lot. I listen to his music. I like him. So I definitely gave a very hard benefit of the doubt. But as time progressed, he started unscrambling people's YouTube names. He got to the point that Kaylee didn't even exist. I was done. I like Ray, I was just done. I had nothing else. I didn't have anything to comment. I didn't want to do live streams about him. I just literally wanted this person, please get out of the true crime genre. I don't know what you're doing. You have this giant platform to almost 3 million people, and you are saying the most insane stuff, and it's very dangerous to people that are innocent in cases. But it didn't seem to matter to Mr. Upchurch. So I just I checked out of it. I was like, nope, I don't want to be a part of this. I don't want to deal with any of this. I covered Kylie minimally and just the way that I wanted to, but I had no desire to throw my hat into the ring with these crazed conspiracy theorists making up all kinds of stuff, going in directions that are kind of, you got to do mental gymnastics to get there. I just wasn't going to subscribe to that. So, Lee with love. I loved his music so much and can't listen to it now. Yes, I know. Isn't that sad? Isn't that sad? Same, same. I don't know that, well, I'll be honest. I don't know that I loved Ryan's music, but I did like it. It was different. It was unique. It was different. But I really liked him as a person. I thought this was a very people person, this very sociable person, as a person that cares about his fans. This person go out of his way to talk to you, give an autograph. You don't see that a lot. Celebrities do what they want, and I understand that. Ryan, I feel like, went the extra mile, but when he entered the Kylie Rodney case, I'm not sure what happened. I really don't know what happened. I don't know if this is just a case of a guy that is much better off making goofy, funny YouTube videos, or someone that's better at making music. But true crime is definitely not his genre. And I watched a crazy irresponsibility. I chuckle because it was ridiculous what I was watching. It got to a point where I didn't watch anymore. Like, I just stopped. I couldn't watch anymore. I couldn't do any of that. AWP's video came out. She was found. Her mother was saying, please, like, basically leave us alone. I'm going to assume that they had information that the public did not, because she was a minor. Again, I'll repeat, they do not have to release any of that, and they have not. But the family was satisfied that this was an accident. There was video released where you do see lights of a car make the wrong turn. Essentially, it goes straight into the water. There was 2 other cars. One of them appeared to see it, speed out of the way. The other car kind of stopped and just sat there for a minute. I do believe that the occupants of this car saw it, maybe panicked, didn't know what they were seeing. Either way, I do believe that, unfortunately, Kaylee, she hadn't been driving very long. I do think soberly she was exactly what her parents described her as. Very responsible, always a seatbelt, always things like that. But I think we're all old enough to know that when you get intoxicated, sometimes you do not make the best decisions, no matter what age you are. But especially a young person probably would make a worse decision. So her not being in a seatbelt, her thinking that, I know I'm drunk, but I can still make it home. Like, my house is like 10 minutes, less than 10 minutes from here. Like, I can do it. And she didn't. She didn't. Unfortunately, as sad as it is, she did not. This Idaho 4 case is just as sad to me. When I didn't know that Kaylee was graduating this year, this December, and again, I believe it was yesterday that she was supposed to graduate. So I'm sure her family probably had a very tough day yesterday. I know her father, again, is talked about a lot because he's very vocal, but her mother seems to be struggling heavily to the point where she can't get out words. The dad is having to step in and kind of speak her words for her because she just can't get them out. So, imagining your 21-year-old daughter who was supposed to graduate literally yesterday from college, was going on to a new job, a new city, a new life, is gone. And Kaylee's mother, my heart goes out to her. I see her, and it's just very, very sad to me. What do you do? What do you do with information like that? What do you do in a situation like that? What do you do? Do you just cry it out? Do you go to the media and say, give me some information? What do you do? There's no rule book to this. There's nothing. What do you do? So I'm not mad at her family. People have criticized. I will not be one of them. But people have criticized Kaylee's family, especially her father, saying he was just too loud, he was saying too much, blah, blah, blah. I don't want anyone to jeopardize their eventual trial and prosecution of their killer or killers. But I do not fault Kaylee's family. In fact, what often happens, I don't think this case, I see a lot of people like, oh, I don't want this case to go cold. Trust and believe this case is not going cold. Okay. This case is too prolific. Again, 4 murder people. Hang on a second. I'm going to incoming call. I'm not sure. Hang on. Hello.
Yeah, it's Mr. X.
Hey, how are you?
Are you live?
Yeah, I am.
Am I on?
Yep, I'm talking about the Idaho 4.
Yeah, I heard about you talking about not anybody screwing up this case like some of the degenerates that are out there.
Yeah.
That are live streaming it. So, yeah, I hope that doesn't happen either. Are they going to stop that?
Yes, I actually think you're talking about Jared Lessick. Because that.
You're right.
Yeah. Absolutely. I do want to just say something to you real quick.
Sure, go ahead. Yeah, 'cause I heard you talking about me and I wanted to, respond to you here. But go ahead.
Well, I have nothing bad to say about you. You're always polite.
Yeah.
But with Jim, I'm not speaking to Jim because he does owe me an apology. But I do want to tell him that the Chase Ventura recordings, even though they are behind a paywall, which kind of makes it worse, he could get in legal trouble for that because you cannot record them.
I'm sorry, he did what?
The Chase Ventura recordings with Dylan Rounds' case. He cannot record them. And I'm not saying this, out of whatever, but I actually wanted to talk to Chase Ventura with Jim. But and he was okay with that. But with all of this stuff that happened in the Jared Lessick case, you cannot record anything from the court. You cannot record prisoners. You cannot record the conversations. There has been talk, okay, behind the scenes. That's what I'm saying to you.
So what is what am I, the messenger here? So
Yes,
I'm supposed to go tell
yes,
Jim? You can tell Jim. It's his show. It's his intellectual property, not mine. You know what I mean? So,
absolutely, you are. You're the pigeon. You are the crow.
What is the crime? Explain that to me.
Recording any type of jail visitation, court hearings, anything like that, that's a crime.
So is Duty Wrong going to get in trouble for that, for doing that with Adventures of a Purpose and a pedo?
I don't know, Mr.
No,
X.
what I heard, he's not.
I'm only giving a warning. I'm only giving
No,
a
I
warning.
understand. I
Yeah.
just, that's the first time I've ever heard of this. But here's the thing that I would question about that, because first of all, if it's a two-party state, that would be question number one. Like, obviously, that call didn't take place from a California or what have you, but both parties agreed to it. Now, the legality part of the jail, I don't know. You're right about that. I'm not sure either way. I have to take your word
Yeah,
for it.
it's not really relevant with two-party states or things like that, because you're dealing with the courts and, prisoners in custody. So you're dealing with all of that kind of stuff.
Does it have anything to do with the nature of the questions? Because there wasn't anything revealing in it. There wasn't anything bad in it.
No.
It's just the fact that he's behind bars.
Yes. Just the fact that he's behind bars and was recorded.
So how does that work then when they have Charles Manson and he does a 60-minute interview when he was alive, or Geraldo Rivera was there and they're trash talking him, or they're talking to, Ted Bundy behind the scenes? Well,
I would surmise, and this is just me speculating, but I would surmise that most likely because Manson chose, it was his decision to do that, and the case itself was just enormous. People wanted to hear that they allowed it. With Chase Venstra, was Chase aware that he was being recorded? I don't know. I know, me and Jim did talk about this, and I was very interested in hearing these recordings, but I don't know if Chase agreed to it or not.
I don't know either way, and I don't want to speak on behalf of Jim, because the producing of that, I mean, I'm not producing that segment, because I can tell you this: Chase Venstra wouldn't know who the fuck I am, so why would he talk to me? Now, Jim was involved in that case and would know him and would know of him and all that kind of stuff, and they had talked before, so obviously that would be directly with Jim. So if they had some kind of dealings or he set something up, but I would say that there was definitely permission granted, because they were talking about putting money on the books and going deeper in this together and working together. I mean, it's just from an outsider looking in, so it doesn't sound like that there was any kind of, hey, I don't want you, but it goes back to this. Jim's number.
Yeah, it's really about legality.
That attorney can contact him, the jail can contact him, or if you two, here's what this is, unlike Doug Hutton can go out there and say Jim's a pedophile as of 2023, and we can't get that struck down. That's okay. But Jim does something where people are vastly interested in, and that could potentially be bad, regardless if you like him or not. So, I mean, if you...
Yeah, well, actually, like I said, Jim and I had talked about Chase Venstra and talking to him, and Jim was like, do you want me to bring you in the call? And I was like, absolutely, because I've wanted to talk to this guy for a long time. So it didn't really dawn on me that I don't know why, because I definitely
tell you this, like an attorney?
Yes. Not an attorney, but yes, someone in the legal arena. So it did really dawn on me. I was like, yeah, I definitely want to talk to Chase. And there was the whole thing with Jared Lessick and the YouTubers live streaming the court proceedings and yada yada. So I still, even after that, I really didn't think a lot about Jim doing this. And then I got a phone call, and it was, what he's doing is illegal. And I was like, oh, you know what? I never thought about that. So I didn't actually get to call, because I was going to call Jim and just say, hey, I got this phone call, and just let you know, heads up, whatever you want to do with it, that's your business. But, sometimes he just can't refrain from himself. So he had to call into my show, and he had to make fun of my sexual assault and just be Jim. He had to be 12.
No, I didn't hear that.
Yeah, well,
I heard him talk about it, but I didn't hear that.
Well, Jim likes to be 12 at times. He likes to revert back. So I didn't get to, tell him that.
Well, I mean, I could definitely talk to him about that, but this is what I would say in response to that. First of all, Jim's number's public. You can contact him anytime. Obviously, he's sleeping right now, but if he's awake, and if it was somebody of law enforcement or some type, if it's some public.
No, I'm glad you called in because I was not going to call him.
I get at least 2 or 3 a day, and it's getting very annoying. I'm not upset at you, but because this is something different and obviously much more important. But can you tell Jim this? And I'm like, fuck. And these are nice people who are contributors to the show. Shit, I'm not Jim's secretary. Fuck. Why don't you call in the show and tell Jim?
Yeah, you tell him.
Yeah. So, and I had somebody today that said, there's a nice lady who's a contributor. Can you tell the lady who was giving all the information of contributors how much they were earning about this guy? And can you, like, what do I?
You know what? Even though I have the greatest mods, I just like a lot of smaller channels like myself. The bigger channels will try to mod you up. They'll try to give you a wrench. I have rejected that shit every damn time. I am not your moderator. I am not your secretary. I'm not any of that. I get my own damn emails. I get my own phone calls. I get my own stuff all the time. And I just do not need anyone else's stuff. Jim complains about this. He's complained about this to me before.
Yeah.
That so many people just call him and harass him. And I actually said to him, because he's on his live stream.
Well, I've never called you up either. This your number here. I've never bugged you.
No, not you. He doesn't bug me, but I'm not happy with him at this moment. Either way, whatever. We'll get over it, I'm sure.
And Tamara, in your chat, Mr. X is his own entity. Jim and I grew up in the same area. Jim tried to be like me. He tried to speak like me. So, yeah, I mean, there's a lot of rumors out there, but that rumor is not correct. And in fact, I can prove to you that I'm not Jim. If you go ahead and send Cash App,
I know you're not Jim, but I firmly believe you're Jim's brother.
Well, that's neither here nor there. But if you send a Cash App over to me, I can read the Cash App and I'll prove to you I'm not Jim. So with that being said,
I don't think you're Jim. No.
No, I'm definitely not Jim. What I would say is this: Jim's number's public. If there is some kind of violation terms of service for YouTube, we will abide by anything Google says because we want to work with them, not against. That's number one.
Yeah, just don't get the channel in trouble. That could definitely do it.
But if somebody came to us that was a law enforcement, like here's a perfect example. And this is what I wanted to say. When Jim had Kurt Wadsworth and Ellen Berg on that show, which we had later made public, which is a VIP Plus show, it's the one with a girl pointing her mouth open. Jim got some calls from the FBI up in there, and this is obviously a different scenario than the Idaho4 and all, but the same cases, obviously Bill and Round thing, about Kurt Wadsworth talking about burial of money. And he said, oh, now you're going to have people out there digging stuff up and blame Jim. So if somebody comes on Jim's show and says something, FBI contact Jim. And this FBI guy didn't even watch the show because at that point it was VIP Plus. Anybody can say anything. Now, if there's the Jim doing that act of calling this guy, if he was in prison at the time, it sounds like he was. I'm assuming he's probably still there. If there's an issue, whatever that law enforcement is, all they have to do is contact Jim. That's it. And say, here, or that attorney or whatever that is. But I don't understand, like, what are you going to go to jail for putting up a YouTube video?
You could get fined. Oh, sorry, babe. I don't even know your Cash App. I love you. Sorry. I mean, I do send you Cash Apps. You send me Cash Apps. I just don't really pay attention. Like, you're one of my top people.
I mean,
well, no, Tyler's in here. He's laughing. He was joking and said, we'll put my Cash App. So I did. I thought I did. It's the wrong thing.
Tyler Feller, or is it Tyler Carver?
No, it's Tyler Carver.
Okay.
I am definitely not in a relationship with Tyler Feller. I don't believe I have the right parts for him, but that's just my own speculation.
He does seem a little femme.
My own speculation.
It's funny, you and I thought the same thing. I mean, he might be a man of the cloth and all that, and I wish he will not have me on his show. I don't know why. I've never had a communication with him.
Really?
I want to come on Prayer Friday. I really do. I would like to pray for Doug, and I'd like to pray for Salty Pancakes.
Well, you're not going to pray for me. You've come on my show.
Yeah, but you don't need it. It sounds like you're put together. It sounds like you're doing well
What
in
do you
your
mean?
life.
I absolutely need it. What do you mean I don't need it? I need
maybe
it.
I know less about you than I know about them, but they
Well, I'm
definitely
not saying that I'm completely falling apart here, but I need some shit. Help me.
Well, I could put in a prayer request for you, of course, for a small cash app.
But you absolutely want
to
to pray for Doug Hutton, which I think everyone should send out
And I don't
a
know,
very
I mean,
large
I see a picture
prayer
of you,
for that
but
person.
I'm assuming that's what you look like. I'm assuming that's a recent picture of you, and I've never really seen too many pictures of you, except for the one that your emoji or avatar, aviator, as Jim says. But like, you don't seem to have that puffy Johnny Depp alcoholic head like both of them do. So I mean, you're at least doing okay there, you know.
Well, I appreciate that compliment because no, I don't. You know what? I'm gonna behave myself. I could say so much right now. I'm just gonna behave myself.
Well, I know what you're gonna say, but yeah, I'll talk to Jim about that. I'll mention that to Jim about that thing. I mean, I know what he's gonna say. Here's what he's gonna say. Until somebody calls me, I'm gonna keep it up.
Probably. That sounds like a Jim statement.
I mean, I've known Jim well enough for long enough that that's probably what he's gonna say. And even if he was struck down, like the audience. And certainly the paying audience got an opportunity to watch it. Of course, we have it backed up too, but like they have an opportunity to, super chat, be involved, watch it, and they got out of whatever they got out of it. And we also made it public when it was a VIP plus thing. So, I think one of them we did. One of the two we did. So, like it's already out there. It's kind of like old news now, unless somebody wanted to do that. But the reason that for us backing this up and us keeping all this information is, I think at some point, if or when this kid is found, I hope he's found. I hope he's found alive. That's my hope. Which I don't think is going to be the case. We have so many interviews.
It's highly unrealistic, but
unrealistic. I mean, but it would also be interesting if the mom was involved in some weird way. That would be interesting too. Like I'm looking for the Hollywood ending story. Okay, but we have.
But you cannot manufacture that if that's not the case,
No, we're not manufacturing. What I'm saying is Jim has the back catalog and the information. So if somebody wanted to bring Jim in for a Netflix documentary or to license the footage with these individuals, that footage exists. Now, when you do a film or you do a documentary, you have what's called, and we also have this for Jim's show, E&O insurance, Arizona Emissions Insurance, in case there is a lawsuit. You also have it with books. You've seen that in the Jesse Ventura case and so forth when he sued.
What's his name? I've been saying for
So I mean, we're kind of protected in that legal sense as well.
Dylan's case is not that old. It's not a year old yet. But I've been saying for quite a while that I was going to make a documentary of Dylan's life. And I want it to be factual. And I don't think the factual will be popular. Because
it's probably more boring, the story, than it really is. It's not like that.
No. I think it's much more interesting, but there was a lot that went on in this young man's life. In his younger years, with his family and all of that. And a lot of people just do not know that story. I know that story. Jim knows that story. And we know it from multiple people. Jim had direct contact with his family. I had secondhand contact with the family. But it all matched. Everything that we were told was spot on. We even had contact with people that were potential persons of interest. Their direct, how would I don't want to describe it, but a direct person to these people. Jim and I, unrelated, did not talk about it, had almost the exact same conversation with the same person. And that happened multiple times, with multiple different people in the case. So, I was reluctant to give Jim information because I didn't know what he knew. he called me up and was like, stuff. And I was like, yeah. And he was like, well, I want to do this. And I was like, no. So he was saying that he wanted to come on my show and say a bunch of stuff. And I was like, no, you're not.
Why did you want to do that? You saw the breakdown.
Because
that could have been for you.
I'll tell you why. Directly.
I know you didn't get a chance to respond on the show when we spoke about that, but it doesn't make any sense to me. Why would you not want to do that?
Number one, I had no idea who Jim was. It was very, very days into this case, and Tyler's family they just showed up at our house. So we're all sitting out and about. We're all just kind of hanging. No, my significant other.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So yeah, not Tyler Feller. Okay. So my significant other's family shows up, and we're all just kind of hanging out. It's a holiday weekend, and randomly, Jim calls. I have no idea this number. I dismissed it. I continue to interact with Tyler's family. Another call from the same number comes through, and it just keeps coming through because Jim gets relentless. So, I was like, okay, I don't know what this is, but this person's calling multiple times. They clearly want to talk to me. So I excused myself and told Tyler's family, I'm going to go ahead and take this call. I walk away from them. I answer the phone. It's Jim. And he's like, hey. And I'm like, hey, And he's like, hi, my name's Jim. He was like, stuff. This is the first, one of the first things he says to me. I'm like, what? And he's like, stuff. And I'm like, yeah. And he's like, okay, well, I want to give you an exclusive. And I was like, what kind of exclusive? He was talking way too fast for me. I felt snake oil salesman. This is really what I felt. And so I was just like, I don't believe this guy. So he was like, Dylan was gay. I was like, what? I was like, how do you know? How do you know this? And he was like, no, I'm just telling you, he was gay. He's having this love affair with Kurt Wadsworth. He's saying all this stuff. And I was like, listen, I do know stuff. I've definitely been talking to people in this case. And I do not know anything about Dylan Rounds being gay or any of that. And you're not going to come on my show and say this. And I don't care how many views it gets. That's not what's important to me. You're just not doing that shit. So Jim decided to go on to Monkey Marsh channel and do all of that and on to other channels. And I would... Yeah, well, I wouldn't let Jim on for a long time. I really wouldn't. I was like, no, he would call me up. When are you gonna let me on? When are you gonna let me on? I was like, never. I would always say stuff to him like that, like, no, you're never coming on my channel. So after a while, again, it was just him being, I guess, more forward with information. Me talking to the same exact people, knowing that this information was correct, and then feeling more comfortable with, okay, this person has talked to these people because I've talked to the same people. They told me the same exact things. He can't possibly know this without talking to them. So, that's where that went. But Jim typically behaves himself when he comes upon my channel. But this last time that he was on, he didn't. I was talking about, I worked at TGI Fridays when I was 19 years old. I got sexually assaulted by one of my coworkers, yada, yada, yada. Fit in with the case. I was talking about it. And what does he do? He reverts back to the 5-year-old. He's got to call in. He's cracking up laughing. I'm like, why are you laughing? He's just laughing. And then he's making jokes about it. I'm like, dude, just stop. Just chill out. He gets a little ahead of himself sometimes. I appreciate dark humor. I actually love dark humor. But there's a time and a place. And sometimes Jim gets that confused.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know if I don't think he gets confused. I think he's I don't think
Oh,
Jim would go off half
he's
cock.
strategic. I'll agree.
He wouldn't go off half cock unless like 40 people didn't say that about Dylan Brown with the gate. He wouldn't.
It wasn't about Dylan. It was about me.
Yeah, I'm in that scenario, but I'm just backing up to what you were saying before about the Dylan Brown gay thing. If 40 people wouldn't have come up and said that, they've not come up and walked up, but say that over and over and over again as he was.
No, I actually independently, not because of Jim. Yeah, independently from Jim, not because information was shared between the two of us, but independently from him, we both heard again from the same people, the same exact stories. They just lined up perfectly. So I know exactly where that information came from and who it was said by. And these are not people that were just fringe people on the outside of the case. They are people that are very directly involved. So, Jim always goes on about, I'm not a true crime person. Well, you can't say that if you're a PI. If you're a PI, you're part of
when we have people shaving their head, when we have, people eating food out of their mouth from a duck, a girl with MS on there talking about her experiences, and just all these different characters, and saying, he's also an arena football player too, and he doesn't talk about not a football show. It's a variety show. One of those acts in the circus, if you want to call it that, is true crime. See, that's the problem where I think a lot of other people make mistakes is Doug sits on it, boring as fuck, and he's got nothing to say. He's got no experience. He's got a lady sitting next to him that can't pull her upper lip up because she's
Don't get me started. Don't get me started.
Right, and don't get me started either. But Jim's expertise in that and the way that he talked and all those things kind of mold together. But he's not true crime. But people are interested in that aspect too as another act of the circus. The people that like the show the most like the shenanigans.
When you say circus, yes. Like maybe you want to rephrase, because when you say circus, it puts in the minds of people that Jim just sees this as an act, circus act. So, and people never take kindly to that when it comes to true crime.
Well, and that's why his show has been successful, because we've done other things like having characters on there and people that are interesting and turning people into characters. And now everybody's copying and dressing up and trying to be a Mr. X. What happens is this. Here's why I say circus. Because you have not because of the negative connotations that come with the circus. The reason I say a circus is you have a choice of things to like or dislike for everything. If you don't like clowns, you have something else. You got the ringmaster. Jim is the ringmaster. If you don't like, then you have the lion. Then you have the high wire act, and it's dangerous and it's scary. So you have all these different things. I mean,
did you ever watch American Horror Story?
Yeah, I did.
Did you watch Freak Show?
What was that, third season?
I think so.
I worked on the first season that was here in LA, but I didn't see it. Yeah.
Please expand on that. That was Horror House. That was great.
There was some footage that was shot at that house, and at the time my hair was pretty long, and it was, I think that's supposed to be based around the 70s, and I can't grow a beard, so they put on some fake, the sideburns on me and so.
Were you like an extra? Were you working on set or?
No, it was like stunt stuff.
Okay.
No, I don't do extra work. I'm like years beyond that. Like as far, I'm not trying to act like a big shot or anything, but
yeah.
If it's not, but like if you could do stunt work and be seen less than an extra, I don't even see you at all. Like you'd never see me. In fact, I've gone back and I've never seen myself in. So it was like people throwing footballs in the front yard and then like tackling each other, just real basic stuff. They're not going to trust a background actor to do that. You have to know the stunt coordinator and so forth. And I'd have to look it up. It's been a while. I want to say that was before I left for New Orleans. It would have been sometime in 2010 or 2011. So it's been over 10 years. But they'd have you do a few things, and I think that they were doing that to show like a 70s neighborhood, to have like footage they can cut to, and they never used it. Never thought. So.
That's really
I have pictures of me with the sideburns and everything.
you seem, just well traveled, I would say.
Yeah, like Jim.
Yeah, Jim as well. Jim as well. That's what I said. Jim gets on my damn nerves. Okay, just bluntly, Jim gets on my damn nerves. But Jim called me sometime during the summer. I don't know what month, but he called me up, and Tyler and I were out with the kids. We were at the beach, and
Is Tyler your mod?
no, he's my significant other.
Okay, because there's a mod in here called Tyler.
Yeah, that's probably him.
Oh, okay. Well, there you go. That's what I asked.
Yeah, yeah, I'm not looking at chat, but anyway, we were at the beach with the kids, and Jim calls, and I didn't answer, and then he relentlessly calls until you answer. He's like a bit of the Idaho4 girl, the Kaylee girl, that
the blonde, the hot one.
yeah,
Okay.
the one that draws the eye the most. That's Jim's spirit animal. So, that's what he was doing, just calling. So I'm like, okay, fine. So I answer the phone. I'm like, Jim, I'm out with a family, and we're doing this. Oh, where are you at? I was like, I'm in Rehoboth. I'm on the Jolly Jolly. What's that? That sounds like a strip club. I was like, no, it's not. Long story short, he ends up saying, I've been there. I've been to Rusty Rudder. It's a great place, blah, blah, blah. He's talking about PA. He's talking about Delaware and things like that. And he likes Delaware, blah, blah, blah. But never once during that conversation did I feel like, oh, Jim Terry's going to come to my house. Jim Terry's going to stalk me, Jim's Jim. He's an ass. But he's not a psychopath. He's not gonna come to your house or do weird things like that. So this other guy, and my number has gone across the bottom of the screen for a long time at this point.
Yeah.
But yeah, I talked about this other guy in a different live stream. But he calls me up, and he calls me during a live stream. He's talking to me. Very nice person. Came across very nice, blah, blah. I end the live stream. He calls me. We're speaking to one another. This guy starts sending me gifts of a couple from General Hospital. I wish I was making that up. I'm not. So 2 females. I guess General Hospital is just getting it on at this point. I don't know. I never watched daytime soap operas, but he does. So this lesbian couple is just getting it on General Hospital. He sends me this gift. The one girl, she has her top off. She has a bra on.
This is on TV?
This is on TV. This is on General Hospital. General Hospital.
Start watching.
Nah, I know. You might want to tune in. But yeah. So she has no top on, just her bra. She's shoving the other girl down the bed. They're about to, do the dirty. He's fixated on this GIF, right? So what was going on here, long story short, is that he became fixated on me for I have no idea why. I'm just me. I don't know why anybody would do that, but either way, he became fixated on me, and he was already fixated on this General Hospital thing. So he called me and was sending me this gift, and he wanted to know for sure that I was looking at this gift. Well, are you looking at it? Are you looking at it? I think it's so cool that you live so close to me, because this guy lives in Jersey. Public notice, I'll say it again. You come to my house, I will shoot you. I'm a liberal, and I will shoot you. Dead in my front yard. Backyard, front yard, I will shoot you. I didn't know you were liberal. Yeah, I'll put it out there. Yeah, people have this distorted view of what liberal is. Well, okay. California, you don't have to tell me. Yeah, well, exactly. They do. They have this distorted view. Dude, just because I'm liberal doesn't mean I hate guns. I don't hate guns.
I don't either.
They're
I
protection.
consider myself a moderate, really an independent, but moderate Democrat.
I consider myself a centrist liberal.
I voted for, last time I voted for Gary John. So I didn't vote for Trump. I didn't vote for anybody. I mean, I want to see, I kind of hope that the party's split, you know, and we have more choices. But anyways, the point is, this creep is coming on to you now.
Oh, yeah. Well, listen, no, I'm 41. So I tell Tyler, yeah, definitely kids. So I tell Tyler, my significant other, you know, what is happening here. This is different. I've never talked to somebody like this before. Most of the people that call me off air are kind and they just want to talk about cases and things like that. I've got plenty of those calls. But this was different, and I knew it was different. And I had a gut feel that this was very different. So I tell Tyler about it. He gets, you know, really worked up. You know, what do you want to do? What are we doing about this? You know, he's all worked up about it. So I said, you know what? I said, you're going to leave this to me. I said, because I'm going to tell this person very, very directly that if he comes to my fucking house, I will take your head off. And it's not even about me. It's because my children reside in this home. And if you threaten this home, if I don't succeed in taking your head off, Tyler will be right behind me doing the exact same thing. So please do not do that to yourself. So Tyler agrees.
How do you know this wasn't just a decent guy? How did you know that this was dangerous?
Yes. A very strong gut feeling. The repeatedness of him. Again, this is why I'm comparing Jim to this person. You know, Jim was like, oh, where are you at? And I'm like, I'm at the restaurant. Oh, I've been there. I've been to Rehoboth. I've been to Delaware. And he's going on and on. I like this about Delaware and da da da. Never once, Jim, his boombastic, annoying ass self, never once did I get a creep factor from Jim. I know Jim is not coming to my state to hunt me down or do something weird. He's not going to do that. You know, but was he saying a lot of things about Delaware? Sure. But not in that way. So this guy, again, when you're a YouTuber, you get a lot of phone calls from random people, and they just want to chat with you. They've watched your stream. Yeah. They might not even comment in the chat, but they will call you afterward. Just want to chat with you. Plenty of phone calls like this. This one was different. You know when things are different.
And that's why I have never given this number out publicly, by the way. This number, there's a few people who have it within the show. Obviously, you have it. And the few people that have it, you know, I've talked to them a handful of times. I've probably talked to you more so than anybody else other than like Miss T on here. So
yeah, I really like you. I didn't think I was gonna like you.
Why not? You should like me.
I don't know because you know why? I was there. Well, I don't know that. That's why
let's go down the YouTube list of these
well, I was initially put off by I think I have a little Jim in me that I was initially put off by the anonymity. Like I want to see you. I'm looking at it wrong. But I'm just saying that. Yeah, I'm just saying.
Here's what you need to see in Mr. X. It's like the same as a Queen song. It's a neutral mask. Okay. So I could be anybody. So whatever you see, you can see somebody you dislike. You can see somebody you like. You can see a good-looking guy. You can see an ugly guy. That's the way that this is designed. Like Marty McFly is a neutral mask character in Back to the Future. He's your journeyman character that's taking you through the movie.
I like that analogy.
That's what it is. So so there are people that I meet that kind of feel, and I do act like myself that really know me, and they I don't put on too much of an act. I do amp things up, but it's not an act. But that's the idea of this character. So when we have bits, for example, a bit that's coming up where Mr. X is in a graveyard, okay, and destroying YouTubers in a graveyard, that's not a real person. Jess goes and does that. You're a real weirdo. But if a character goes and does it to a graveyard, destroying YouTubers.
What is this? Why is everybody talking about your toes?
I did a show that's probably one of the most popular shows on Jim Terry TV, where it was myself. Jim was going offline, and it was myself, Diva Puss, and Miss T. This is a number of months ago, maybe a month and a half ago. And so as we were going offline, you've probably seen this on StreamYard. You get offline, and the chat continues on. And I saw a couple super chats go on. And Jim's like, "Oh, I'm just tired." And I was like, "Well, we missed a couple super chats, and I'm going to end up saying, dealing with them in the chat, how come you didn't read it?" Now, it was almost like a cutoff, like, "Hey, don't send in another one, otherwise we won't be able to read it." And they were coming in, or we didn't catch them before we went off air. So we came back on air. I said, "Mr. T, will you go back up?" And it was just one of those weird nights where you have it on set or you have it at a workplace where everybody starts giggling and having a good time. And people started talking about, I think it was about Doug, or maybe it was Chop Sector TV or one of these things.
Do you like Doug?
No, I do not. I can't stand that motherfucker. Nope. I do not like him at all. Can't stand him. I think he's a piece of shit. I think he's got a lot of mental problems.
I will agree with you, but go ahead.
He's a coward. I'm the closest to him in Los Angeles. He wants everybody to come to Los Angeles. I'm right down the road from him. You can come to me anytime you want. He won't do it.
It's really strange. I always thought Doug was like a bigger guy, like a taller guy. No, he's really very short. No, he's very short. He's like 5'5". He's very, very short.
I didn't know that. I mean, Danny told me he's like 5'8" or 5'9". But the point is, we started doing the show, and I said that I have all these.
You talked to Danny?
I talked to her. I was on her show right before I came on here.
Oh, okay.
10 minutes ago. 15 minutes ago.
Right.
Yeah. So, and Gemini Man too, who's a good guy. So I'm on this show, and we started giggling and laughing. And after about 2 hours of show, I think we were on there for like 4 hours, I started saying that I can do more with my feet than most people can do with their hands. And so I started showing that how I can play. Because this guy says that all Mr. X is a guy is just sits at home and plays PlayStation and Xbox all night. So I brought out my Wii controller, and I started showing how I can play Wii controller with my feet. And then people started paying me slowly, super chatting to me to see more and more with my feet. It was like even Toe Jam, who's a man, was doing it just to stay on, just to have something to laugh at. And everybody's giggling. Toe Jam is one of the contributors of Jim's show. So what ends up happening is, Miss T has what's called in the entertainment industry an infectious laugh, where she laughs. I don't even know if she knows she has this, but when she laughs and snorts, other people laugh. They hire people with that skill or that ability to go into sets like Johnny Carson. Like, you put that person in an audience and they start laughing, and they want people like that. So she has that ability. She starts laughing, everybody's having a good time, and then I started drawing pictures on the bottom of my feet, and then having my feet talk and grab things, and it turned into a whole thing. So that's where that came from.
Okay, well, somebody has coined
Jim's thing, and Jim was even on the show.
Somebody's calling you a toe stripper.
Yeah, I was. Yeah, it was basically like an OnlyFans, but with feet. And I was doing stuff with feet, and then it became a thing, and then everybody wanted to see Mr.
Well, I think if Jim actually does his tree thing that he wanted to do, he said he wanted to get a little tree and get some little balls made. And he asked me, he was joking, but it's so funny. He was like, yeah, so I'm going to put this little tree back there. He was like, if you could send me like a couple pictures of your hands, just your hands. He was like, I'm going to put them on a ball and see if people can like figure out who it is. And I was like, shut the hell up. But it would be pretty funny if my hands and your feet were on there. And then, the rest of Jim's enemies or whoever. He loves his enemies, I think. But no, Jim is banned from the channel as of right now.
Why?
Oh, dude. I was doing a serious stream about the Idaho4. I was talking about my own sexual assault and why they may have called their friends and said the police. I did the exact same thing. And so Jim calls in and he just starts cracking up laughing. Just laughing his ass off. I was like, Jim, don't laugh at my essay, dude. Just don't laugh at it, So he's like, okay, my bad. He was
SA,
like,
is that short for sexual assault?
yeah, you really should say SA on YouTube. Kind of.
Oh, really? I thought SA meant like a Hispanic guy that was like down somewhere in Pacoima or something like that. But okay.
Well, you would think that, but no.
Del Monte or something. I've been around LA.
TOS, terms of standard for.
So you can't even say, like, I hear people saying, like, Ickham, I'll be like, yeah, he R'd him. And I'm like, really?
Yeah.
Really? You can't even say that?
There's a reason why he's saying that.
Why
cannot. You cannot say the R asterisk PE word on YouTube.
Ever?
No.
What about the P word?
Are we talking about inserting something into something else, or?
No, I'm talking about like Adventures with a Purpose.
Oh yeah, you talk about them all day. What he did though, you would still have to say, as a true crime creator, is that Jared Lessick was charged with 2 counts of R word of a child. So it's just TOS. It's a terms of standard with YouTube. You must follow that. You get struck for that. You can do all kinds of things. So yeah, sexual assault. I'm just gonna say it. I've been saying it, but sexual assault should be said as SA.
God, what happened to language? Remember when the internet was supposed
to
be the Wild
don't
West
even
and
get me
anything was
started.
possible?
Do not get me started on linguistics.
Too, and it should be wide open.
Oh, dude, no, it infuriates me. Like, we have a language. In fact, across the world, we have many languages that are established, that are set. When people start to try to make languages their own damn language, as a person that appreciate words, I don't like that. I don't like that.
Think it is. This is my opinion on this, and I might be wrong. I think that the reason that Google YouTube wants that, is for the aspect of the monetization for commercials. So if you're saying R and AS and the N word and all that, saying every word, nobody's gonna want their commercials on that where they're talking about that kind of stuff. Like, somebody's not going to put the new Google Watch on that, or, the new headphones, the new iPod on that commercial. They don't even know where it's going on, which one. Oh, you're associated with that channel? So maybe that has something to do with it, because YouTube deserves, they're in Five Vista too. They deserve to make money. I mean, they provided this platform. They made this platform,
Exactly.
So I totally get it, but I just think it's a degeneration of the language. It's ridiculous.
I fully agree. I fully agree, because it's, to me, they're harsh words, right? The R word, harsh word, it's triggering for many people. Sexual assault, again, another triggering word to people.
Yeah, I mean, people are triggered by that, but it's just,
they really
sad.
are.
I mean, am I allowed to say the U word? Because I'm into that. I mean, I've been doing that for years.
I don't know if you mean unicorn. If so, I think that's fair game. I don't know. You said the U word. I don't know.
I'm talking about urinating on women.
Oh, so you like golden showers?
Yeah, I'm into that.
Okay, look, you can't even stop yourself from laughing. You're ridiculous. You're not into that.
I'm into you.
Oh, okay.
The letter U is what I do.
I'm gonna tell Miss T.
Miss T, you know her?
No, but I'm still gonna tell her. Either way.
Go tell her. Go ahead.
Either way, what we're talking about. Stop flirting with me, and we're going back to our conversation. Either way, what the hell were we talking about before you wanted to throw that out there?
We were talking about these terms of service and the language degenerated because of YouTube, Google.
Yes, language generation. It's been happening for quite a while. It continues to happen, and as a realist, as a person that thinks in reality terms and not not a lot of other things. I look at this and say, this comes down to transgenders. There's no reason to beat around this bush.
Sure.
But with that,
yeah, I guess you can't say tranny anymore either. That's gone.
You're gonna say transgenders. But either way, you know, I don't care what you are. I don't. I don't care what you identify it as. You want to walk around in whatever garb you feel like thrusting upon your body. Do that, okay? Knock yourself out. But when you start attempting to change language, change linguistics, start and there's debate about this, about the pronouns they or them. You know, to me, they or them represents multiple people, not just one, plural. But there are definitely examples of people saying it in a singular way.
Yeah, hey, they went over there.
Yeah, exactly. Perfect.
Yeah, I'm an English major.
Oh, great.
Actually, I actually got a degree in it. Yeah, I mean, but I know, there was no zit there when I was in college, which is supposed to be a gender neutral term. I had tried to have somebody don't say that to me on a set the other day. I said, I'm not calling somebody fucking dead. That sounds like a Transformers nickname. That's
it's
ridiculous.
Like the XI. Is that what we're talking about?
No, there was another one. It was like Zine or something. I don't know if it's XI or whatever. It was started with a Z. And I just remember there being, I think there was a Transformer, maybe somebody was a G.I. Joe Cobra Kai that was named Zed. I don't remember.
So it's like they're just making up like words at this point. Okay.
Yeah, and I'm like, okay, so then when I graduated college, 2001, where were those words at? So 20 years later, now that exists? No. But I understand why YouTube is doing it monetarily. Fine, no problem. We'll abide by that if that's what they want to do. No, we could do that. But yeah, and I would be respectful to people, but I'm not going to call somebody Zed. That's ridiculous.
Well, I've been following the transgender movement for years. Because early on, I was curious. That curiosity turned into basically a behavioral study. And I've been watching it for so long. The toxicity.
What do you mean by curious?
Well, I was just curious what they were saying.
Curious?
No.
Okay.
Oh, was that your joke? I'm sorry.
No,
was I supposed to laugh? I'm sorry. Tell me if I'm supposed to laugh.
I'm just curious if, maybe you went that way for a little while. You were in college, you got lonely, you wanted to see what,
No.
Okay.
No, I definitely, I'm an arrow straight.
Okay.
But either way, so I just, I saw these people and I didn't really have a lot of opinion, honestly. I really didn't. I was just kind of like, okay, if you would like to dress in a dress or you want to throw a tie on, go for it. Didn't really bother me in any way. But when it started to become a problem was when, again, the language was attacked. And it was just very strange. And I know what you're talking about with the Z, Xi. I had the XI, the XE, all of these literal made up words. And what it is, I kind of, as a person that has mental illness, because I do, I have PTSD. Yeah, I have PTSD.
You served somewhere or something?
No.
Oh, so something else. Okay.
Something else. But I have that, and really wouldn't wish it on anyone.
Yeah.
It sucks. But either way.
No, I have some of that too. I think everybody has that to an extent. I just wonder, what the extremes of it could be. Like, here's an example.
When I tested for it, I tested the chart went up to 53. I went over that. So
here's my PTSD. PTSD, and this is not a joke. It's on a lighter level. It's going to sound like a bit of a joke, but it's not. But when I was in New Orleans and then left, I think I had some New Orleans PTSD because there wasn't I felt like I came out of, and I know this sounds ridiculous, but I felt like I came out of a war. It felt like every street that I was on, maybe this is just my own mental thing, like I would be on a street, and then later that day somebody gets shot. I'd go in the convention center, there'd be rats everywhere. There was crime everywhere. So I was like, man, this is just not like this in California. This is a different world. Then there was the racism stuff. They're tearing down statues, which I was for, but it was weird to see that in 2016, 2017, they still had Confederate statues up like they were statues of Jesus. So it's just this different world, and I was just like very uncomfortable with it. And then when I would start talking to people, they're growing up. Their history classes were a lot different than the history classes that I learned. Like it seemed like an upside down world. I was like, what did you guys learn? What? Huh?
Yeah, I'm gonna tell you, as a person from Delaware, my state took part in the Civil War. I have been to Antietam Creek. I have been to Fort Delaware. I've been to all of these. The war that interested me the most was the Civil War. And that was just because my 5th grade teacher really taught extensively about that, and he sparked an interest in me. So that's how that happened. But
that's not a real big thing, and people aren't talking about the Civil War in California or Florida as much because nobody's from. Most people aren't from those areas. I would have
where I was going with that is that when I went to Antietam, there were statues of Robert E. Lee.
Yeah.
There were statues of Stonewall Jackson. Stonewall Jackson is my favorite Confederate leader. He just was. I have favorites from both sides for different reasons. I've really studied the hell out of this war.
I think I was most interested in Vietnam, but I mean, I understand why you would being from there, sure.
Yeah, it was just, it was really my teacher that sparked this interest. But either way, I took a great interest, and I studied so much about it. But Tyler and I went, and I got a picture of myself with Robert E. Lee statue and Stonewall Jackson statue and all of these things. And I think we learned the next year that they were being pulled down. And what I'm half native, I'm half white. I have a little bit of nuance here. I definitely see how this shit represents slavery. But if you actually educated yourself on the Civil War, it was not. It was slavery was pretty much an afterthought. Everything else was business. That war was complete business. And then, of course, the back of the business was slavery.
I understand. Yeah, I'm aware. Sure.
Right. So there's so much to that war. And I wish people would just educate themselves a little bit more on that. Who did what was going on. Because there's just this overbroad view of, somebody signed, Lincoln signed the Emancipation Proclamation and freed all the slaves and everybody was happy. No.
Yeah, obviously there's Jim Crow. There's a lot of eras and stuff afterwards. I don't know.
There's Jim Crow. There's John Brown's stand. I've been there as well. I actually whitewater kayaked right past where he took his stand. That is Harper's Ferry, West Virginia.
There's a degenerative society there that's in New Orleans that doesn't exist in California, at least not to this degree. That's old South, old money. It doesn't really exist in Florida because Florida's snowbirds and people who have been there, going there, and they're not, maybe a generation, not people that are from Florida for decades and generations and generations, maybe one or two now, but not in the 80s when I lived there, 80s and 90s. So what I've seen there, and this is just a perfect example of what I've seen that I think is kind of a byproduct of that era, is I was at an event one time, and there was a guy who was serving tables, an older black guy, who was serving the tables there, and I saw some younger white guys walk in, and it's a very casual, laid back. I was like, ooh, if you said this in Los Angeles, you'd be gone. And they said, hey, older guy talking to this guy who's a waiter. Hey, boy, come on over here, boy. And I'm like, man, if you said that in Los Angeles, you'd be gone.
Yeah, you would be.
And like that's just like that's normal down there. And I kind of looked at people like, what the fuck? And I saw this guy, and I knew that it was hurtful to him, but it's kind of part of that society. And he walked over there, and he's doing his job, and he's making his money, and this and that. But that's the part. I think that's the thing that gave me nightmares. That exists in 2017 in this area, and it's not getting any better. And it's just a pile of dog shit down. And that's what gave me PTSD. I was like, wow, this really exists now. These people actually vote, So that's what. And I'm not really into politics that much.
No, but that's just hilarious. You say that because me and my long ago ex male BFF, we used to talk about this all the time. That we think that we came up with this thing that we think that people should be like vetted to vote. Like you should have to pass some type of test, a basic writing test, a speech test, things like that. We just need your basic IQ, and then you can vote. So
I would love to see them remove all parties from ballots. No Democrats, no Republicans. Like you have to figure out
who's what. Yeah, who's good, who's not. And you know what? People that don't follow politics, they would be completely lost.
Right.
On both sides, because
Democrat.
Exactly.
There was a guy there that when I was there, he was running for a Republican, some kind of local city council, and he went only by the name Crawdad. I don't know what the guy's fucking. It's like a pro wrestling name. It's like a Mr. X name. Is this man who was running for office? And don't forget, this is also an area, Metairie, Louisiana, that spawned David Duke. Huey P. Long. Some of these degenerates that were the worst. I mean, I think he was a senator at one time. Yenny, who was caught with a little boy in Kenner. I think he was like the mayor of that area. I mean, there's all these different weirdos that are in and out. Was it Ray Nagin, who was during Katrina? He was in prison. I mean, there's just so much.
Wow.
So that kind of, it's just not what, and obviously there's some corrupt things, LAPD back in the day and stuff in LA or Florida. Sure, but this is so small and tight knit. I just never see anything.
That you don't expect it, but it's really in those communities that it's more prevalent,
Yeah, and they knew that I wasn't from there. You could tell by my last name. They could tell by my car. They could tell by my light display. I actually talked to Danny about this earlier tonight, but I still think about that stuff. Now, obviously, that's not an SA. That's not an R. I understand there's different degrees of it, but it still would affect me, not to this day, because it's been over 5 years now. The PTSD that I'm getting now is from maybe some of these haters. It's actually not the New Orleans one is worse than these haters.
You've been talking to Danny quite a bit. You should email me. And it's nothing against her. It's nothing against her. I promise you that.
Oh, yeah, I mean, I do talk to her on her show, but I typically don't call these people or bug these people off their show. Like, I don't think I've ever spoken to Danny off her show.
Oh,
I mean,
okay.
she got a kid, she got a life.
Email me. My email is in
I have your email.
It's in my About section.
Okay, what am I emailing you about?
Email me about that. What about Danny?
Okay.
About
what
was said.
She's always been nice to me.
No. I agree. Again, this is nothing bad about her.
Okay.
And I'll just
I think you should reconsider about having Jim on. I mean, you need Jim.
Jim pissed me. No, I don't.
Yeah, you need him on.
No, I really don't. I really don't. I do not need Jim on.
You see all that money you could have had. You could have gone out and done something. You could have bought a new car with that money.
Okay. Well, I didn't. Sometimes
you've had a YouTube channel since 2012, 10 years. Right?
Okay. I didn't start doing anything with it until like a year ago or something. So no, let me tell you this. Not everyone is out to make $1,000 a day on YouTube. Would that be? Would that? No. Listen, I am not going to knock people that are honest about it. Jim is honest about that.
Yeah.
This is why I'm here.
So
I appreciate honesty above all else. But I just, would that be a dream? Absolutely. Do I think that I have what it takes to do that? Probably not. So I do what I do. But I don't think there's anything wrong with anyone. Like, I love your business mind. And I did tell Jim that privately on the phone that
about Jim or about me?
You.
Yeah, well, everybody knows that I'm the brain. Jim is the clown. I'm the brain. Everybody's figured that out by now.
You're definitely the brain for sure.
Yeah.
So yeah, I actually find you way more interesting to talk to.
Yes,
because you're smarter and you're just you're easier to talk to. You don't say a bunch of offensive bullshit. And you're always gonna advocate for Jim. I understand that, but he came on my show. He was just a dick. He was a dick. That's the best way I could put it.
I mean, I'm not advocating for him, but I mean, we're kind of here now. You're doing something else, which I always ask this about, like, what is the show about? But when I see these shows, and if it could be true crime or not true crime, and I know people don't like this, you were a little triggered when I mentioned a circus, which a circus has been a great American pastime until recently. I mean, Tiny Tim toured with the circus.
How was it triggered? I just want to know what you meant.
So it's, Barnum and Bailey and all that guy. I don't think it's a bad thing. I don't like the animal abuse like anybody else. But with that being said, I think true crime, I think all of these lean, even including football, sports, lean towards entertainment. And if you admit that and just say, hey, this is what this is, people are watching you not because they think that you're going to discover what happened with the Idaho4, because they like you. They want it. They're engaged by you. And they're, it might just be like a chat line.
Yeah, I mean, we're so off topic. I mean, people aren't going to really watch past 2 hours anyway, but most of the stream is...
They're going to watch it because I'm here. That's number one.
Maybe, but this stream was supposed to be about the Idaho4 and the Scream, that there was another YouTuber.
What's the Scream?
Well, this other YouTuber, Joseph Morris, he's covered a bunch of different cases. Most famously, I guess, would be Gabby Petito's. And he grabs, this is what he does. He grabs content. Sorry. Grabs content off of like Instagram or Twitter or wherever. And then he uses it as clickbait. So this guy's got like 200,000 subscribers, which is just ridiculous because he shouldn't. But he does. And, he faked this is not funny, but it's so ridiculous. Like, I don't know what else to do about it. He hijacked a domestic violence victim. This video was uploaded. She was literally being attacked by a male, hit upon, etc., etc. So she's telling him, stop it, just leave me alone. This guy takes this video that is a legitimate video of somebody actually experiencing domestic violence. He manipulates the audio and puts himself in it. So you hear this girl saying, just stop it, leave me alone. And then you hear him breathing heavily. He made this shit up and then presented it on his channel. I know, you can laugh because it's absolutely insane. He presents it on his channel as, like this leaked audio of the Idaho4, one of the girls like being murdered, and then you have like I literally read the headline and was like, nope. Like these cops.
So that's what the scream.
Yeah. So the scream, stop it, leave me alone. So you have several.
So this is like a story within a story.
Yeah, because you have this crime, but you had several, well, more than several actually, multiple really. I would say multiple, big quote unquote YouTubers that covered this, that did streams on this scream that literally did not exist. So then you have Idaho Police Department that comes out and says, hang on, let me look at this real quick. I'll read it to you of what they said. They literally had enough of everybody's bullshit.
I mean, this sounds like something that I would
do. Don't do this.
No, well, let me just tell you this.
I was telling you. But this is what they said. This is from the Moscow Police Department. Quote, investigators have been monitoring online activity related to this ongoing and active case and are aware of the large amount of rumors and misinformation being shared, as well as harassing and threatening behavior towards potentially involved parties. Anyone engaging in threats or harassment, whether in person, online, or otherwise, needs to understand that they could be subjecting themselves to criminal charges. Listen, that is the first time that I have finally seen a police department say, enough. We're done. We're not putting up with your bullshit. You people want to, you want to make up videos. You want to do all this nonsense. You want to target random people that have nothing to do with this. We're going to do something to you.
Here's the problem. This is what I'm saying with this. So since this is an actual real crime, I think that that's stepping over the line. I wouldn't even do that. Now, here's why I was laughing about that. A few weeks back, I did a show on the beach, and I just did a live stream. The camera was in the sand, and it was just like a sunset show, and just kind of a chit chat. So they don't see me; they just see the sunset. I ran in front of the camera a few times, but afterwards, I made the joke to Jim. I said, "Wouldn't it be funny if I went and hired a child actor? Because there's people who are walking around with their dog, Mr. X in his outfit on the beach, and this and that. If we had a child actor walk in front of the camera, start playing in the sand, and this and that, kind of taper off into the water."
You're doing a California Michael Myers.
Yeah, I was on it. So let me
superhero.
So basically, Mr. X runs out from behind the camera and goes and sees it in the water, saves this child, happens to bring him up in front of the camera, starts pumping the child's chest to get the water. Kid spits out a little bit of water. Mr. X saves the day. That's what I was thinking about doing. And a couple people come in, they're like tapping, like, why are you wearing that outfit? I'm like, well, I'm doing a live stream and this and that. And then we let everybody in on the joke. That was an idea that was being tossed around. Now, would I actually do that too? I would let the audience in and say, okay, guys, like that was a joke, kind of like an Andy Kaufman thing.
I could see you and Jim pulling that off.
Yeah,
actually.
something like, well, the thing with Jim eating food is an Andy Kaufman bit, by the way. So, I mean, we've already done stuff like that. But, like, we would always let the audience in so they could laugh. Like, oh, is this real? And then not know, and then laugh, and then, like, hey, this is a joke. Like, obviously we're joking around. But what we would never do is lie to them or take something within true crime. It's like somebody really died.
Yeah.
And lie to them or embellish that. I would not be part of that.
Yeah, I don't think many people would. Even Jim, with his assholeness, I really don't think that Jim would partake in things that are just blatantly.
No, he wouldn't. He's not going to blatantly lie. Now, somebody says that this guy was gay, and that information ends up coming back incorrect, but 30 people told him. I mean, what's he going to not give that information? We'll come back and say it was wrong. But to
Do you have a phone ringing?
No, I'm doing an air fryer making some tater tots. I'm just kidding. hungry here. I've been up late. I made some tater tots in the air fryer. I'm really good at the air fryer. I'm a wizard with that air fryer.
No, you're fine. We're about to end this live stream because I'm about to eat my darn.
Yeah, the idea is to always let the audience in. Like when Ty Corbin and Salty Pancakes were going to fight, and we thought that this was going to be a real thing, and we were running around like, man, we don't want to get in trouble. These guys beat the shit out of each other. Like, we're in the middle of this. So we were legitimately concerned. And Salty comes back and says that he was joking with everybody. That was one of the reasons I stopped talking to him, because I felt like he puppeted our audience. He lied to our audience. And he lied to me. So I don't believe in doing that. Anybody who does that is a scumbag. And anybody who's going around these cases like the Adventures with a Purpose and thing and kind of parasiting on, I talk about what we know about. I talk about Quintella Robinson, not her, but my experiences, direct and indirect, in Mexico. Me being in Mexico. Not her case in Mexico, because I don't know her. Right. You know what I mean? And I think
that's a good perspective. But what people would really want, most likely, is if you brought a woman along or something like that, more her perspective, because women and men are just treated differently. They just are.
Well, I mean, I'm just saying from my point of view, going down there, I'm not going down now. It's worse down there than I was down there 10 years ago. But, you know, the idea, I mean, actually, having a live stream in Mexico isn't a bad idea. But
did you watch the Harry and Meghan thing on Netflix or no?
No, I'm not in. I don't like royalty and all that stuff. And then she's getting this, and he's a bald guy who's goofy, but he's got a decent looking wife. But then the family doesn't like her because she's black. I don't give a fuck. There's no such thing as a king and a queen. That doesn't exist.
Thank you. That's what I keep telling everyone. I'm like, Americans.
Not into Princess Diana.
Can you guys listen up? Why are you guys pressed about this? We got rid of the monarchy like centuries ago. We don't have any of that. Those titles are meaningless here. We don't do that. So whatever they have going on, it's not our problem. Like, I keep telling people that it's not our problem. Like, it's just not. Okay, you're over here. You want to be called the Duchess of whatever? Fine. We don't have duchess or there. You have no lands over here. Prince, cool. We don't have princes, but you can be one still, I guess, because.
And I know that there's people that are from Saudi Arabia and they're princes and princesses, and they come into LA and they spend a lot of money.
They come in, but we do not. This country as a whole does not honor titles like that. People will get starstruck and do whatever, but I'm talking about as a whole. This country doesn't honor titles like that because we purposely got rid of kings and queens and all of those things. So as a whole, we just don't, that's cool that you're a prince. It's cool that you're the king, queen, whatever. But
for being born into something. I mean, some of those people do great, obviously do, volunteering and help out certain causes, but you have time to volunteer and do that kind of stuff.
I don't know if this was said in the documentary. I think it was, maybe, but they really are the world's richest tourist attraction. Yeah,
you're right.
I mean, just literally living in a fishbowl. No autonomy over their life, no control over their own lives. And they are a literal tourist attraction. And the British economy, the British people pay for them. You know what? In this Harry and Meghan, I suggest you watch, by the way. It was interesting, actually. They didn't attack the family. That's what everybody thought was going to happen. No. They actually went after the press. They went after the British press, which was very interesting. It exceeded my expectations because the bar wasn't set really high with them with this. And I watched and I was like, whoa, okay. I kind of like you people a lot more than I did prior to this. But either way, they just really, with this whole documentary, they really highlight the press intrusion and how detrimental it is, and how the tabloids in the UK they're life-changing. They sway the entire public. And every time, I see things like this with the media, swaying people left, right, center, wherever they swing them. I always think of Adolf Hitler. I know that sounds crazy, but I do. He made a statement, and it was completely twisted in his version, but he was correct. And the statement was, he who controls the media controls the masses.
Yeah, look at William Randolph Hearst. I mean, this has been the consistent thing throughout history.
Exactly. You control the media, you control everything.
Yep.
You control the way people think, you control what people, who they're going to back, what they're going to do. Imagine if Russia invaded Ukraine and there was all this, a flurry of, press from China and Russia and, all of the Eastern, region, North Korea, whatever, of all of this stuff that, this was just and this was right and da-da-da. Tons of propaganda. Nobody does propaganda better than the United States. We do it best. That's why we have Hollywood. we really do it best. So, that's probably not a good thing. It's probably not a bragging point, but communications, anyone that downplays that or doesn't think that's a giant thing, it's a huge thing. Diplomacy matters. Communication matters.
I agree with you to an extent, but also not to an extent.
Okay.
And here's what I'm going to say about it. I mean, people who don't live in Hollywood or Los Angeles, they call it Hollywood. Yeah. And thank you, Ruben Sanchez, by the way. Yeah, we're going to catch up. I'm back in the house, but Ruben Sanchez gave me a call. I don't typically keep the phone on me. But anyways, here's what I know that it is. First of all, the industry does not exist in Hollywood. Hollywood is a shitty area. I'm talking about West Hollywood, not North Hollywood, where the Walk of Fame is. It's historically kind of a shitty area where the stars. There's only one studio there, which is Paramount, one of the older studios. The industry primarily exists in Beverly Hills, where the money is at. Beverly Hills, Bel Air. This is my take on it now as I'm in my 40s. And what I've seen is, sure, there is some content and media that's put out there by Fox, or it could be by CNN in Atlanta, that is, obviously getting their agenda. But I think it's two different sides of the coin. They have one flavor, they have another. But what I've seen is this, and this is what I didn't know until recently. It's kind of like a country club filmmaker. When you have enough money that you can just go out and buy the car, you can go out and buy the new watch, it doesn't really mean anything. So what can you do at the country club to have more clout? What can you have that somebody else doesn't have? Well, you can be involved in this Winter's Bone movie with Jennifer Lawrence that everybody's talking about and might win Best Picture. You funded that film. That is not, now that might have a message, and that message might be what get people talking in the country club, but that clout of having that movie, or say you're the investor of the new NWA movie, or whatever, I mean, that's not a new movie, but I'm just giving you an example, or you were one of the main executives of the new Avatar, a group of people. That puts you in a real exclusive club, almost like being the owner of an NBA franchise. Okay. And I think that's not something you can buy as easily as being part of that group, is being able to go to these Hollywood parties and saying, yeah, they're not really producers like Mr. X, where I'm a mom and pop pizza store and I'm moving the equipment and I'm doing everything. I'm flipping the pizza, I'm selling the pizza, I'm marketing it, I'm doing it all. They're a section of giving the money, but they can go to the parties and say, well, I'm an executive producer. But they never did. They don't know what lenses they used. They were never on a call sheet. They never showed up to set. So I think that's the other part of it. Now, wherever the movie lies from there, that's fine. But if you have a guy, for example, like that's going to be involved, Robert Downey Jr. is going to get involved in a Marvel, and it's probably going to make money because this thing's going to take off. They have their own studio now, and this and that. And you're on the beginning end of that. That would be like at the beginning end of a cryptocurrency. So this is going to be this whole chain. They got the right guy. They're getting the right start, and you're in it could be a money-making venture. When typically movies are one of the worst investments. So I think it could be a number of all those things. But the biggest thing I see in being around these hotels and being in these areas, there's a reason Harvey Weinstein was hanging out at the Peninsula Hotel. Hanging out that it's not to have a hotel room, it's because other people are there too. Other people are doing business at the hotel too. Okay.
I think we could have a giant conversation about the Cecil Hotel. Like, not right now, but we could.
The Cecil Hotel is downtown, but yeah, I mean, so I think that is a misconception. But this is what I have learned
There's just an entire thing there.
Yeah, I watched a documentary about it. But anyways, so that would be the only thing that I would add to it. And I've never really heard anybody discuss it because I don't know anybody else that did it deep in it as I. Like, if you're a young lady and you wanted to meet somebody, and let's say, here's a perfect, getting back to your topic, your Idaho4. If those young ladies were at a rooftop bar in Beverly Hills, they would not be dating that degenerate-looking guy with a fucking big head who looks like a guy from Mice and Men, Lenny.
You know what? I don't want to disparage these young man's looks, but I'll be very straight. Well, yeah, he's still alive. He's got no excuse. You just did. But either way, I'll be straight with you.
But if she was here,
I was very surprised to see both of their significant others, because I'll agree with you. You're saying it much more vulgar than I am.
Well, you know those aren't good looking men.
They didn't fit.
Right. And you know if those girls were in Beverly Hills at a rooftop bar or a club, meeting at David Spade or something like that, it would be a completely different scenario. And that's not being crude, that's just the way that it is. And maybe now I sound more like, yeah. But this is what I'm telling you the industry is here. But I don't think there's anybody plotting out there. And maybe because I just heard this like on different shows. They just all have similar interests. And their similar interests are making money or keeping money or staying in the club. The reason you pay that premium, that overpriced premium to be in Beverly Hills or Bel Air is because everybody was around. That's why you pay for that. Also, you have the police department that's top notch too. But no bums are going to be parking on your street. But you have other people who are like-minded who are making money like. I think that's what the larger part of the industry is. At least what I'm seeing it at my age, currently at the level that I'm at right now. There you go.
Yeah, you're just very. I said this. You're just very business minded, and I like it. Like I could just listen to you. I have no idea why Jim's a star, because I mean we can let him believe that.
What is a
because
star?
He's a star of the show. But
he
doesn't really star. But he doesn't have to be, because I really think that should go to you.
Of course.
Well, I'm just saying.
Well, here's the thing. I mean, Jim is the reason people are there. I realize that. I can assist him.
But you're the reason they stay.
Yes, there's no the VIP stuff. Well, that's me. But the organization is because of me. But the hardest part is finding people who are diehard people or that like a personality. And Jim has found the people that like him, and they found him, and they back and forth. Okay, they like each other. So what my goal is to give them Jim Terry and not make it about. I don't need it to talk all the time. And of course, I have the Jim Terry too, and I can help out and do a little smaller things and this and that. But the lightning rod is not something that what he has done in that community is not something that I can produce. He's just that I can just help clean it up a little bit. But yes, if you were to put him in a movie versus me, yes, I would slaughter him, and that's not what he does. I mean, he could not produce. This is a live stream, so. But I tell you what, that live stream could earn more than a movie, because it's just him and he's rambunctious and that's the way it is, and that's fine. They're all different types of entertainment. But people enjoy him, so I want to be able to bring that to them, and that's what I do, and that's what I wanted to say.
No, I actually think it works perfectly, because he really is the clown the puppet that you throw out in front of everybody, and he just entertains.
Yeah,
but there has to be. Yeah, there has to be an entire back office. There has to be a functioning running of things.
I don't want somebody saying,
and
is he better looking than him? Is he better this and that?
Yeah.
they're this, they're that. No, that's not. We can eliminate all that, and then I can also play a bunch of different parts, which I'm basically saying everything that I agree with anyway. So that's the reason for it. Jim's tapped into something that's good, and there's a lot of people that are in your chat and that are in other areas that enjoy what he's doing, and he's enjoying giving it out. That's the different mentality that he has, that he was talking about to you on his show. That you're just doing it for a different approach.
You know,
okay.
here's the thing. Jim just got a little too damn comfortable. Jim has been on my show enough times that he just got a little damn too comfortable. He used to come on my show and be respectful, and he would talk about cases and things like that. But he just got a little too comfortable and came on and decided he was going to crack up laughing. I mean, belly laugh at my sexual assaults. And just be a prick. Just be Jim on a prick day. So that's what he did.
I guess you're just taking it as a prick, and I'm looking at it like this is the Howard Stern attitude of just say everything that comes to your mind, no matter how hard. That's what Jim was saying.
Well, the thing is that do I hate Jim? No, I don't hate Jim. Does Jim get on my nerves? Absolutely, 100%. But I don't hate him. I've never actually hated Jim. And I never have. I still don't. Do I think what he did was rude as shit? Yes. Do I think he should apologize? Absolutely. But I still hate him. I don't hate him. He does. This is why I talk about him the way that I do. Like, Jim's doing his little asshole Jim things. Because I'm not actually, in my mind at least, like shitting on him. Jim is like the brother I never wanted. He's the brother I never asked for. He's the brother that I never asked for, and there he is. So that's how I look at Jim.
Yeah, that's pretty much right.
Yeah, so I mean, when I say, oh yeah, Jim came in and saying his asshole shit, that's what he was doing. So yeah, he owes me an apology. Do I hate him? No.
I don't think you're going to get that apology.
Well, no. Well, then he's not coming on the show. I mean, he calls in almost every damn show. If he wants to stay off, I don't give a damn. I will gladly carry my shows on my own, and I gladly have you on. It's up to him. It's up to him.
You said you were looking for a Mr. X. That's the reason I called.
Ah. Yeah, did I really say that?
You said that in a chat. That's what the last time I saw it, because that's what I was going to give you a call about.
Well, you're like the best version of Jim, like that.
Yeah, pretty much.
Like you are. You really are.
Yeah, absolutely.
You are like the version of Jim that everybody wishes he was. You are intelligent, articulate, kind.
People like Jim to be the outlandish person too. I wish I could be as well, and
to an extent. But Jim always seems to extend the boundaries to where people don't like it. Like when he stays in bounds and he's bombastic, people love it. They love it. But when he goes out of bounds and starts doing ridiculous shit, no, that's when people back away and say, no, I don't really like that. You're being a dick. It's the way it is.
And here's the kind of person he is. He's not going to change how he is.
No.
That's how he does it.
Okay.
And he would rather not do it than be in some kind of boundary. So either this is the way he's going to do it.
It's up to him. I think that Jim, and like I've told him to his face, he absolutely has the chops for this genre. He does. He has the chops for it.
Well, obviously, he's out earning everybody.
But you cannot always be the rebel. You can't always, I'm just going to live my life however. There's rules wherever the hell you go. Well, there's just rules wherever you go. There are. No matter who you are, there is somebody above you. There always is. Even if you're the president of the United States, there is somebody above you.
So who's above Jim in this? Explain that to me.
Well, plenty of people.
How does that matter for Jim? We just focus on bettering ourselves. See,
that's a good point. It's a good point.
Other people are making content about us. How often, very infrequently, do we make content only about other people. The content we made the other night, which somebody sent to us, by the way, about breaking down those numbers, was actually about Jim. It was not about, it was about, we mentioned other creators, but it goes back to the point, the thesis, that if you have
I
Jim on
wasn't
your show,
offended at all. I just want to hijack Jim's chat because he laughed at my essay. But I'm not vindictive. I'm not vindictive to the point where I'm gonna get you, or something
you're
weird.
not a queen bee.
No.
You don't sell crack.
No. I don't even know what crack looks like. But either way, it's just, I might come and hijack your chat. And I want you to see that everybody loves me. And, there's the middle finger to you. And then Jim, he rants on for a minute about it, which I expect him to do. But you guys I actually listened to that discussion for a while because you were talking business wise and kind of talking to you about stuff like this. I don't think that, subscribers really get let in on that part of this.
Well, we want to take the curtain back and explain it to them because a couple months ago, we didn't know anything about YouTube taking 30% or any of that. We were kind of learning it ourselves. And then since we're not monetized to the point where Jim is not monetized to the point where it's been 6 months, he's not in that crowd. It's interesting to see the people that are, to see how much money they made off of that. And it also destroys their argument. I mean, I kind of almost set it up like if this was a case, I was a lawyer. And I'm proving my evidence against, say, for example, Doug Unknown Thanks. And all I have to do is show this evidence. And these people who watch videos,
I don't think that would be hard to do. He's an
but
idiot.
I'm already doing it. They're smart enough without me. I don't have to try to manipulate them. I don't have to say anybody's a pedophile or anything like that.
No, you could literally tell the truth about these people.
I tell the truth and then give the information, give the fact, and the audience is the jury. And more times than not, they're already saying, "Yeah, I knew that guy was a dickhead. I know that guy's a degenerate." What's the story? This is what I asked Danny about. What's the story about his wife not wanting to be around him? I would love to know how that breakup goes because I've never heard about that.
I don't even know who the hell Danny is.
Danny's a lady who dated Doug for a number of weeks, number of months.
Oh, Danny. Okay, yeah. Okay. When you say Danny, I think of a guy. Yes, I know who she is.
I would love to know why Doug's wife, whatever the woman he had the children.
I have one word for you. Tattoo.
The tattoo on the legs.
No.
Another tattoo?
Yeah.
I don't know anything about it.
I know.
Oh, you got my email now. Send it to me.
It's hilarious. I will.
So she broke up with him over a tattoo, is what you're saying?
No, I'm being really, really cheap. Actually, I'll just tell it. It's not a secret or anything. Crime and Justice put it on our channel and all of that stuff. So Crime and Justice. So Doug revenge porned 2 women.
Yep, I'm familiar with that.
Yeah. And then he went off on other creators. So this whole thing's kind of went off the rails. Crime and Justice response to that. I'm sorry. Okay, if I start laughing, ignore me. But her response to that was to I don't know how old she is. I think she's in her late 40s, maybe early 50s, something of that nature.
I was gonna say 65. Wow, she's in her 40s.
No. Yeah, I don't think she's in her 60s old, but yeah, because she has teenage sons and stuff like that. But so she's not that old, but she she went and got the first tattoo of her life, and the tattoo it's on her forearm. Okay.
Yeah.
And it looks like a Superman shield. And it's got a giant D in the middle for Doug. And it says FTFO, which is,
what does that mean?
It means F the F off. And then she got Team Doug on the other 2 sides.
So that's why his wife broke up with him, because this other woman got tattoos of him?
No. Doug, I believe that Doug was single. But the level that this lady went to like secure her spot in Doug Hutton's life is extraordinary. You know, I hope that she donates her brain to science. We need to understand lower IQs. I think it will help the masses. I really do.
And she has nothing. You're talking about. I'm not trying to say I'm the smartest guy in the world. I have a lot to add. And sometimes I sit back. She has nothing. This is a person who's, you know, a hair above a retard. She has nothing to add to the conversation.
You said that I didn't, but either way, I just, fuck's sake, dude. Okay, so I've talked to you, right? I've talked to you more than once, twice, three, four times.
3 or 4 times, sure, yeah.
Right. So I know you. I like you. I think you're a very level-headed person. I think you're a good guy. I enjoy talking to you. I just think that you're a good person. That is my literal overall view of you. If you want to revenge porn to women and then just attack a shit ton of creators because you may or may not have been doing meth, I probably am definitely not going to get a tattoo of you on my forearm. I'm just saying. Doesn't mean I don't like you. It just means that the intelligent level is just where it probably should be.
I understand. Yeah, I understand what you're saying. I think that there could be some, you know, mental anguish there, some mental problems as well. But I mean, it's just sad. I mean, who knows what that woman is getting? Hopefully, Doug's paying her something like we pay Miss T. But you know, I mean, who knows? I hope that guy just goes away, or he's not going to go away. I hope he just stops talking about us.
Because that's just not going to happen either. I'll probably get shit on tomorrow, which I don't really care. I watched that ridiculous ass tattoo. I think in the summer at some point. I can't really remember like when she did the stupidest thing of her life. But I remember watching in horror, and I remember thinking, yo, this guy covers true crime. He lives in California. California is the first state to enact revenge porn laws.
Yeah, I would never do that to somebody. I think that's as low as you can get.
So he does this to 2 different women randomly. They did nothing to him. This is spurred on by either mental illness, but probably allegedly drugs of the meth ilk. And so, you know, this happens, and then this lady that's across the country, he's in California, she's over here in, I don't know, Arkansas, Alabama, some backwards ass state that's gonna allow some crazy ass shit like that. And she literally decides, as a single mom, a single woman, you know, that she's going to go, and you know what? The streams are not up anymore, but I watched them when they came up. Doug, I will say this. He actually looked embarrassed. I
would like to see that, but to an extent, I'm not going to go out.
I don't have it. But he posted a video. He was nervously laughing. He was like, I didn't know. You know, she like text messaged me. She was doing this. Next thing I know, I start getting videos and pictures. And then she did a video where she just showed the entire process, like a sped up version of her getting this tattoo of Doug. Oh, yeah. So it's surreal. It's disturbing. It's a WTF, capitalized. You know, just what the hell?
It reminds me of that Christopher Dix guy that was on the show last night that said he was going to give Jim a present of doxing people's information. Like, I don't want that, but that's a step further of doing a tattoo. Now,
well, I mean, you can dox people all day long. But do you really want to bother yourself with other people's bullshit?
We don't care. Like whoever this blue bacon, the lazy IPI, like we know enough about him. We know who he is. We know who the Masshole Trough Mafia lady is. He's talking about us every other night. We know who they are. I barely ever brought her up, but we hear them talking about us. We know. Jim doesn't watch it. I search their shows to make sure they're not stealing intellectual property. But, like, we don't really care. We know about her past. You know, I know that they want us to engage. We don't really care. I mean, they're really nothing to them. I don't care how many subscribers they have. But they need us more than we need them. You know, they're the ones talking about us. So, but there's just a lot of ridiculous things. And I think that, you know, it's just like high school stuff. It's a fat, ugly girl who's jealous that Jim's getting interviewed by the Rolling Stone. And we know that it's a bad article. She thinks that we obviously think that it's a good article. But, you know, she wonders, like, why isn't somebody doing that to me? I'm important. Nobody cares about her. That's what it boils down to.
Who are we talking about again? Nobody cares
There's
about
somebody that, you know, and then they come in the chats, Katie something or other. Just all these lazy IPI that I call them. There's just all these different people that do shows on Jim every so often. There's some guy named Sizzly or Sizzler or Sizzle or something. I don't know. Sizzy that they hate. I don't know. But there's just all these different people that there's.
Well, I kind of take it personally. If I allow a person on my show, I just expect you subscribe to my channel for a reason. I expect that you're going to show myself and my guest that's talking some level of respect, even if you don't like them, even if you don't agree with them. You know, you're living in a delusional John Lennon imagined world if you think that everybody's going to get along, because they're not. So I do take things like that personally. It's uncalled for. I don't like it.
Well, I don't mind if they say things that are true, but like to go on there. This is what this lady did recently. She goes, "This is that Masshole Trough Mafia lady. I don't know, whatever her name is." And I don't even know anything about her. I know a little bit about her past. People are trying to send me like, "Oh, you should talk about this." I don't care. But she said that the Rolling Stone article that we thought that that's a good thing. And what she doesn't know, this person who's just this ingrate, backwards idiot from Massachusetts, is that we knew, because we have the interview recorded. Jim says in the recording of the Rolling Stone interview over and over, "This sounds like a hit job. This sounds like a smear piece." We know when it's happening, even before Jim ever contacted that lady, that it was going to be a bad thing. Okay, that's number one. But what we did realize afterwards is when this lady started calling around to Jim's attorney and calling the different police officers, she was starting to find out the real information. So number one, she was going to lie, or she would have to write a fair piece. We still think that she's
Mr.
not going to write
X,
a fair piece.
Tyler has just come out here. He has cooked me breakfast, and he's demanding I end this live stream. So I have to go.
We'll talk about this later, but the fact of the matter is,
I always appreciate your.
I'm not controlling like that.
Dude, I didn't say you were controlling. You just said you cooked breakfast. So come on.
All right, you too.
You too.
God bless.